returning guests to episode 4 of the Dread Broadcast. I'm Jonathan.
And I am Tim. Together we run the Average Reviews on Instagram and YouTube.
So, for a while now, Tim has had this idea.
Yeah, an idea that's been rattling around like bones in a coffin. An idea to gather horror fans from every corner of the realms of horror fandom into something different, something unique.
Now, this isn't just a movie review show.
But it kind of is.
And it's not a recommendation show, dusting off forgotten gems or highlighting ones just outside of the spotlight.
But it is.
And it's not a physical media show.
But yeah, it's that too.
What it really is a combination of all things horror. A place to bring everyone together once a month for a celebration.
Think of it as a virtual pub, one that only appears when the lights go down and the night gets interesting.
We make our shows across the country, from California to Florida, from Texas to Indiana. We can't grab a drink at the local bar when the day is done.
We can't invite you to meet us there, and what a tragedy that is. But that's exactly where this show steps in.
It's gathering to celebrate the month, share our accomplishments, talk about the big announcements, the fun, and the future.
So meet us here, bring a drink, pull up a chair, and settle in.
Because this is the place where fans of horror come together.
And hey, what's a night at the pub without good company? We've got a stacked house tonight, so let's raise a glass and welcome our panel.
Yeah. First up, straight from the Horror Heads podcast, we've got Jerry.
Woo. What's up, everyone? Pleasure to be here. Just a quick intro about myself. I do a bi-weekly podcast with my co-host Rich. We talk about bourbon, talk about horror films, play some drinking games. You can play along if you feel so bold and you're not at work. We occasionally have some guests from the horror world. So if that sounds interesting to you, or if you just like to hear some sloppy horror talk, just check us out at Horror Heads Podcast on Spotify and YouTube. And thanks for having me here, guys.
Absolutely. Next, we have Joel from Darkroom Reviews on YouTube. He's in the mix, too.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I have a YouTube channel called Darkroom Reviews. I am coming up on 3 years now.
Yeah.
And just one night, I suddenly decided to start a channel, and I came up with the name Darkroom Reviews. And at that time, my focus was going to be strictly talking about horror movies. And, 2 or 3 weeks went by, and I decided to switch things up. So I decided to, branch out to other genres. And that's still to this day, that's my focus, talking about all sorts of movies. I give movie reviews, a little bit of movie news, just as I like to say, a little bit of entertainment out of your day. And coming up in August, I have my third annual Ghouls and Goblins event, and something that came up with the channel, and it's basically dedicating the month of October to horror movies. So I'll just be talking about that within that genre, videos all month long.
Awesome.
Heck yeah. And here to spill their guts, we have Tony and Elise from At Gutted Horror Podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having us as well. I'm Elise.
And I'm Tony, and we are Gutted Horror Podcast.
Yeah, we are a prediction and review podcast for all horror films, new and old. We like to take horror movies that we might have missed in the past and watch half of it, make a prediction of what will happen at the end, and then come back and see if we were right or horribly wrong.
And we also do a bunch of trailer reviews and predictions, and bunch of fun horror games, top 10 lists.
We like to also pay homage to some of the indie films that are coming out as well.
Yeah, and you can find us on YouTube. That is sort of our primary place for our podcast, but we're also on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts.
All those listening platforms.
Yeah, and then Instagram for social media. That's our main place for social media.
Yeah.
Awesome. So excited to have you here. This is a table you definitely want to pull a chair up to. But we're just getting started. Back again, Kelsi from Slime and Slashers.
Hi thanks for having me, you guys. I am honored and really, really happy to be back. And it's cool. It feels like I'm a regular now, which I'm, like I said, very honored about. And if you don't know about me and what I cover, the name kind of suggests slime and slashers. Slime kind of signifies my love for 90s Nickelodeon a little bit, or at least that's why I chose the name Slime, and slashers because I love horror, all things horror, horror movies, horror books, and really I do cover more books, but I sprinkle in horror movie talk whenever I can because I love that just as much too. I like to do a lot of vlogging. I like to create community events, and today I am excited to tell you guys about carnival books and clown books. So I'm excited.
And we have Josh from Horribly Opinionated returning for a second episode. Josh, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, guys. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little sick right now. My daughter gave me a cough, so I'm going to be like turning my mic on and off. Got a Negroni in one hand and a bottle of water in the other.
Nice.
Really excited to be here. And I think I mentioned this last time, but I also run my own podcast. It's a paranormal podcast. So if anyone has true life ghost stories they want to share or know someone who does have those stories, I would love to talk to them. But I also do horror movie reviews and news on my Instagram and TikTok channel.
Awesome. And back again after a month off for travel, Aaron has returned.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Tim and Jonathan. It's awesome to be back. I was out last month because I was on vacation, but I've been looking forward to this. So I am, yes, absolutely. I'm from A&B Horror Movies. You can find me on YouTube. I do mostly interviews with horror legends, actors, writers, directors, you name it, anyone involved in the industry. I'm more than happy to talk with them. However, I did my very first live stream last night. Tim, Jonathan, and GC joined. Thank you guys so much for being a part of that. So more live streams to come. Let's see, you can find me on social media at Aaron's Movies 8587 on Instagram and also AB Horror Movies on there as well. So this is going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for having me again.
Yeah,
always glad to have you back on. Unfortunately, Monster Mall Shop came down sick and is unable to make it. So in their place, we have George, otherwise known as At the Movie Den, stepping in.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thank you for last minute popping in. And I know I've been trying to get on the show a couple of times, but just, times have just never panned out properly. But my name's Jordan. I run a channel on YouTube, mainly called The Movie Den. Talk about physical media is the main focus. And again, kind of obvious, the main genre I cover is horror, but I sprinkle in stuff here and there. And then I also have my Instagram at The Movie Den. You can go over there and check out. Always just talking to people, talking about horror stuff, physical media, having fun. And I do a weekly show, which I think GC could talk about a little more, that I do with him. And just, always doing live streams here and there and having fun. That's what Movie Den's all about. So,
Nice.
So glad to finally get you on here.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing it last minute.
Yeah, of course.
Good backup action. And of course, we have the man, the myth, the legend, GC from At Face the Movies, rounding it out.
Guys, what an intro, man. Jeez. Thank you so much for once again having me back. I've become a regular here. Love hanging out with you guys. And it's funny, it's full circle because originally when I first came on here, I was actually covering for Jordan because he wasn't able to make it. And then now we're all here, which is awesome. Now, for you guys that don't know me, I am GC from Face the Movies on YouTube and Instagram. And I do have a horror podcast called Friday Night Fright Night. Each week I'm putting out an episode with my buddy Lee from Cinema Whiplash. So we pick a movie, either old or new, and we kind of just do a deep dive and discuss it. Put those out every Friday, usually midday or so. And as for Face the Movies, I cover a little bit of everything. Honestly, it could go from comedy to horror. I mean, you name it. As of late, I've been doing a lot of horror, especially obviously building up to Halloween and stuff. And like Jordan mentioned, we do have a weekly episode called Cinema Rewind. That's every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Usually what we do is as of late, we've been kind of picking some movies that have been coming out on physical media or in theaters, either sequels, prequels, or remakes, or just, upgraded physical media releases. And we discuss the original or we just pick an old awesome movie that people have completely forgotten about and we discuss it. We usually have a guest on. We've had Tim already, we've had Aaron, and this coming Tuesday we're gonna have Jonathan on there, so make sure to tune in for that. And besides that, just jumping on all these live streams, hanging out with everybody. So again, I'm glad to be here, and yeah, guys, so pumped.
Glad to have you. So we've got someone else pulling up a chair tonight that I'm seriously excited about.
Oh, absolutely. Our guest has been in the trenches of horror and sci-fi for over 3 decades. Writing it, editing it, putting it on the screen, you name it, he's done it.
He's the Bram Stoker Award-nominated editor behind Hell Comes to Hollywood, the creator of 18 Wheels of Horror, and the screenwriter of sci-fi's cult favorite, Ice Spiders, among others.
But what I love is that he's never just camped out in one lane. Eric's stories hit that perfect balance. Genre lovers eat them up, but they've got that wider appeal that makes them great for sharing with friends.
Exactly. He's been shaping horror from the inside out for years, and he's still got that fan's energy, always excited, always thoughtful, and always ready to talk shop.
And he's not talking into the void either. He's connected with over 5,000 fans of horror and sci-fi who follow his work, which tells you just how much people value what he brings to the table.
So grab your drink, because we're about to welcome Eric Miller to the show. Eric, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
That makes me sound way more fancy than I actually am.
Well, let's kick this off. I sent you the first question ahead of time. This got leaked somehow. What got you into writing? How did you kind of discover your knack for writing, your love of writing, and how did it get you into movies?
Probably like many people, just grew up. My dad was a big reader, and there were always books in the house, and he was a college professor, so there were all of that around, and everyone I hung out with. But probably just watching movies and TV, like we all did. For some reason, I still remember, not vaguely, I specifically remember riding in a car. I don't know how old I was, looking at the blur of signs along the side of the road as a really tiny kid, not knowing what they were. And suddenly, from one moment to the next, I could read something. And I'm sure it was something as stupid as McDonald's or something, because we were going to go get a cheeseburger. But I literally remember the revelation of that. So from the time I could read, I just started reading everything way above my level, probably some things I shouldn't have been reading. And somewhere in there, don't know why, you just, like I think so many people do, you just start kind of writing things down and aping those stories that you read, and that led me into so many different directions. A couple great teachers, some librarians, and late night horror movies and kung fu movies, and like probably the biggest influence of whatever Godzilla movies. Love the shirt there, by the way, Tim. That just that weird mix of horror and not knowing the social implications of Godzilla because you're just a kid, and then the raft of all the great pretty much wrestling movies in between. But that just all of that just kind of came together over the years, and I just started writing. Eventually, went to various schools, various colleges, and was trying to do journalism and wanted to write for magazines, and I was always writing things on the side. And eventually, one day, I think I saw RoboCop in the theater, and that was one big light bulb moment that said, hey, get in the car, go to Hollywood. Way back in the day when people didn't just jump in the car and go to Hollywood. It was a much more closed, smaller environment then. But, thanks to intern advisor and some, I think, people who wanted free labor at a movie studio, I wound up in Hollywood as an intern in development. So, and then discovered screenplays. And through that, that's, a whole life would take 10 podcasts to go over, which I'm happy to do. I can talk till midnight, but led to being on set, writing scripts, just so many friends and opportunities and things that just because I just got in the car and followed the green signs west when everybody said, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to Hollywood. And here we are.
Yeah. So
Nice.
What was it like to see your first story on the screen?
It's a total thrill. My first one was co-written, but developed with a previous co-writer, Justin Stanley, The Shadow Men. And I think so far none of my films have had the big giant theatrical release. Which there might not even be those much in the future. So I better hurry up and get one before theaters go away. But I hope not. Going to the screening and just seeing that cast and crew, whatever it was, in the limited releases, it was just a thrill because you see those words that you wrote and we got to be on the set a little bit too, and just seeing how it's interpreted. But like, hey, I wrote that line, I came up with that. It's kind of an indescribable thrill. So it's a lot of fun.
Anyone have questions? Want to hop in? Go for it.
So I know you've edited some story collections, but I actually was able to read your standalone book, Whatever Happened to Uncle Ed, and I found that really interesting because it mixed a lot of different elements, and I'm like dying to know your inspiration behind it. Because just to give everyone a little bit of background, you've got like fantasy elements, you've got horror elements, you've even got sports elements because basketball plays like a big role in the story, but you also have a lot of emotional development. I felt like in the book, especially when it came to the characters, there was definitely like an underlying emotional aspect to it. So I'd love to hear about how that came into play and what inspired you to put all those elements together.
Yeah, thanks for reading. And the emotional elements are there, and that's the core of the story. And even though I usually say I don't want to give too much away and spoil anything, like you said, there's different elements. There's fantasy, horror, mystery, a romance, which I know a lot of my friends are out there laughing that I wrote something regarding romance, but it's just kind of me. I like horror comedies. I like horror fantasies. I read voraciously. I like kung fu movies. I like science fiction movies and books and TV. I read widely and I watch widely. I'm not a some people are snobs that, literary people don't read horror or horror people won't read literary. And I've never been that way. If it's a good story, it's a good story. I'm reading Dickens at the same time I'm reading Poe when I'm a kid. And I can happily flip from an art film over to Godzilla and giggle while, giant rubber monsters are destroying Tokyo. So I've always liked that. And my favorite writers have been that. I have to give huge credit to, grew up in and around Indiana, mostly. That's my state home, even though I've been in Hollywood for decades. But Kurt Vonnegut from Indiana, and he was an early read, and I think they shove it down your throat a little bit because he's the home state guy, but he was such a terrific, amazing, world-altering writer, and you read things like The Sirens of Titan, and he always mixed science fiction with sarcasm and humor and very literary stuff, and so that was a huge, huge influence on me coming in. And this story itself, I took the writer's adage of, if any of you have heard this, to write something, finish it, put it in the drawer, come back to it later, disassociate from it. I spent far longer than I want to admit staying away from this story, but it always called to me and came back. So there's elements, some people have read it in some of my hometowns. I have various places I live, but there's elements of people that I know. There's elements of me and the hero. There's a couple of basketball heroes, sports people that I've known. I won't say that it's directly taken from one of my bosses, but there's a boss in there that was a lot like one of my bosses, the good one, not the bad one. But so there's so many. I think it's why it comes off so real, and that emotional core comes through in spite of shooting demons in the face and all this weird magical stuff and things going on. There's so much of me in there, my family, the good parts of my mom, the good parts of lessons I learned from my dad, friends, and just little bits. And I could go on forever and go through and have a little Easter egg pop-up thing of just like, oh, this came from there and that came from there. And all writers do that. We all take little bits of ourselves and put them in. And in this one is probably more personal than most of the things I've written. Even though, I can't dunk a basketball or anything, the heroes very much got very much elements of me, and that Midwestern drive to work and finish a job and take care of your family and ignore outside. Take care of the family, keep it inside, and no matter what it costs you, just go do it. So, and again, I'm glad that emotional core comes through because I wanted it to be entertaining and fun. At the end of the day, there's sections, I've read them, I've read them over 100 times. There's a couple of sections still make me cry when I read them. And I hope readers get that too. But at the same time, just have a lot of fun because there's also just flat out stupid fun things in there too.
Yeah. Elise, you had a question?
I do. Hi, Eric. So one of my favorite subgenres is the creature feature, and I absolutely love shark movies. So Swamp Shark, I absolutely loved that movie. It was fun, and but what really impressed me was that you have so many characters in that movie, and they're all so different and still very likable. How do you get so many characters into a script and still make them interesting and to where you care about them? In fact, one of the characters that I think you're supposed to not like, when he dies, I'm like, oh, I liked him.
You know what? There's people that do that 1,000 times better than me. Like, I'm in awe of, like, you read great Stephen King books, and there's 50 or 60 characters, and somehow Joe Abercrombie, if you read him, I'm just blown away. And The Blade itself and others, how there's 60 or 70 characters, and they go through 10 different books, and there's callbacks to them. But so you just put that in, and you strive to do that. You have to watch it. As a writer, you have to be careful. This has happened to me a lot too, but I see it in other people's works that sometimes you have the same character spread across two different people. They're saying the same lines and they serve the same story purpose or emotional purpose. So you have to kind of catch yourself or catch your friend to go back and go, oh wait, no, get rid of that person. But part of it is just characters are the most important thing. I usually get a story in mind first. But the characters are what makes it happen, because we all want to identify with them, and some little bits of us and the comic relief or whoever, we all think we're the hero, but most of the time we're really just the side character. But making that real, and again, just putting little bits of people that I know in each one of those, or people, whether they're friends or not, or people I've worked for or with, I try to hang little bits of those things and the dialogue and the way people talk on that. And then when the actors come on, all credit to the actors, especially in a screenplay, is scripts are blueprints. And then it's taken out of your hands, and 700 people tear it apart with chainsaws, and hopefully put it back together in a better version than you imagined. So when the actors come on, if you're lucky enough to be around, and most of the time you are, you can. And on that particular movie, I was around. You could take little bits of them, talk to them, and sometimes they want a lot of changes, but you have to be careful to not wreck the script and make the director mad. But you want to fine tune it to them, because that's what they do for a living. They're making boring words on a page come to life, and that's a big thrill, as we were talking earlier about seeing your first movie. When you see a line delivered the way that you imagined it being delivered when you wrote it by an actor, it's like, oh wow, that was it. They got exactly what it was. But so all credit to them and the directors for taking those words and doing it. And again, hopefully you're there with them to make that. And which character were you mad that got killed? I'm curious.
Christy Swanson's boyfriend. I thought he was fun. He was being kind of heroic in this moment. He's like, I can do this, and I knew it was going to happen. And oh well. Oh,
here's you're talking about the one, again, no spoilers, but the one who gets a certain part of anatomy bitten. Is that who we're talking about? I'm just going to embarrass him forever. That's my good friend, Rich Tanny. I hope you're watching or listening, Rich. Before he was a phenomenal writer-director, or during it, he was an actor as well, and also really good at that. And I was connected with this project, and I thought he was right for one part, asked the director to give him a read, and they turned up giving him a bigger part. So he earned that completely, and we still laugh about that. He makes amazing films, and he's far more than getting anatomy choked by a shark down in the swamp. And it's fun. It's fun rewatching it to know that it's also one of my best personal friends. So when he hoists the Academy Award someday, hopefully I'll be around and go, I got you.
That's the peen violence makes a return in this episode apparently as well. I love it.
Yeah, I've got a question about ice spiders, which is an absolute blast. Oh my god, giant killer spiders. A lot of fun.
At a ski resort. I loved it.
At a ski resort, right? All different kinds of spiders too. So my question for you is, how did you get involved with ice spiders? Did you have a script that just, lying around about giant spiders that attack? Or was it sort of a job where you hired to write the script? And how involved, because the movie's a lot of fun, so I imagine it was a lot of fun writing the script. And how involved were you with ice spiders?
I was actually very involved, and a lot of questions there. But my producer friend Jeff Shank, who I had worked with on crew, but also had tried to, for years, trying to shove my scripts to him, and I know he just threw them on the shelf and went, "Yeah, whatever, go do your job." And I still remember one day I got an agent and went into his office, and he's like, "Oh, I'd like to read one of your scripts," and I started laughing. "It's on the shelf, Jeff." So he always read and liked my stuff, and he was very helpful in me getting an option. Thanks, Jeff, you're out there, directly led me to getting the the writing job on Dog Soldiers 2, which has not seen the daylight yet. And even if it does, it might not be my script. But Jeff loved a werewolf script that I wrote. It helped me get it optioned, and then knew of somebody looking for a writer and hooked me up with that. So that's kind of how Hollywood works in that extreme networking way. But he called me, unlike the way I understand it, sci-fi goes from the channel would go from a title to a log line to a story, and eventually do all these steps. And eventually Jeff called me. He said, "I have a deal. The channel wants to do this. They already have a title." I don't know who came up with the ideas or the title, and I thought it should be called Snow Spiders because it seemed to make more sense and had alliteration. But they were obviously smarter than me. So it worked, and he called and said, "Hey, I want you to write this." And at first, I was like, "I don't know," and I don't know why I said no, because I love creature features. But thankfully, Jeff talked me into it, wrote it, and my first draft was ridiculously big and large. And when you said the different type of spiders, I did tons of spider research. And look, I don't like spiders. I don't run screaming, but I also hope somebody else throws them outside. Arachnophobia is an amazing film, and Big Ass Spider and others. I love them, but I think, like most people, it's in our DNA to just hate spiders. But doing the research
is a good one.
Yeah, tons of research on them though, and there's an amazing variety of spiders. And unfortunately, the budget didn't support putting all the different ones. Like there's a lasso spider that literally sits on a leaf and spins out a lasso with sticky on the end and waits for a bug to fly by and whips it out and gets his dinner. And like, that's got to be in the movie. But unfortunately, it didn't make it. But some of the shapes did. And I think if I remember right, the Black Widow, because that's easier to do in effects and colored in, became kind of the final spider, as it were. But it was a lot of fun to write, and they did keep me around, and I kept making it fun. And again, the characters were great, and I kept trying to make them more fun and more funny. And at a certain point, the channel was like, "This is too funny. You need to trim that back a bit." But and one character that ended up being played by Stephen J. Cannell, that was my favorite character, the coach, Coach Frank, I think his name is. And I don't know why, I just loved that character. But him and Dash Dashel, the hero, just kind of the opposite sides of skiing and competition and sports and all this. I just really liked him, that he was a caring guy. And the casting directors were also friends of mine, and in this whole weird low budget movie world that I've worked in for years. Don and Dean Pemrick, they cast Stephen J. Cannell. And if people don't know who he is, you could not have a more literary and Hollywood titan than Stephen J. Cannell. Just produced, wrote, created so many iconic characters in TV shows, and also wrote books. And he was near the end of his career, but richer than anyone, and he just loved being on set. And so he gets the call like, "Hey, I'm going to go play this part in a low budget sci-fi movie," and he just loved it. He flies his jet up to Utah and plays the part. So it's super cool that one of my heroes actually played a part that I wrote. Did I answer all that? Did I miss anything?
Fantastic. Yeah, I think you covered everything. One last sort of fun question: did you have nightmares about spiders while you were working on ice spiders?
Not
probably will.
No, actually, it was as you've seen. Yes, it's scary, and I have friends who can't watch it, but it's not like the difference between Arachnophobia and other movies like that. I mean, good Lord, what's that scene where they open the kitchen cabinet and Arachnophobia and the reaching in for the whatever? Oh, I can't take that. But it's more on a cartoon level. It's on a sci-fi level because it's broadcast. They want to scare people, but they can't also make their audience run screaming for the hills. So I think the effects worked for that, the writing, and I think the comedic overall tone of it, adventure comedy tone of it, helped with that too. So I didn't have a lot of them, but I've had a few run-ins that I want to run screaming.
Awesome. Well, Ice Spiders, it's so much fun. If you haven't seen it, check it out, and congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Actually, I have a question. What are you reading these days, Eric?
What am I reading? I am reading a book called Polybius, new horror book, horror sci-fi. Colin Armstrong, also from Indiana, who I didn't know back then, but somehow back in the years, I saw a short film that he made, and I was blown away. And I'm pretty sure, if my memory works, I reached out to him years ago, and we talked and chatted, and he took. We just fell apart. And then when I had the first the book signing for Whatever Covenantal Ed at Dark Delicacies, one of the last signings there, he came in, and I hadn't seen him forever, and we reconnected, and he had just published his book, which I didn't even know he was writing. So I'm reading that, and I've also just picked up, I mentioned before, late in life, I've become the biggest Joe Abercrombie fan in the world, so I've just started The Devils. I was going to reread the entire 10 books of The First Law, if you all know what I'm talking about. If you don't, and you're into darkness and grim noir and fantasy and all that, or just great writing. Holy crap. Joe Abercrombie's amazing, but instead of rereading 10 more books, I just said, The Devil's a new one. Let's jump right in. So,
and one more question. Go ahead. Well, okay.
No, go ahead, brother.
Okay. Who are your favorite authors?
I got so many, as we all do. You have to put, in the horror world, have to put Shirley Jackson and Stephen King at the top. They're amazing, and you always have to go back to Mary Shelley, and the Frankenstein started everything, but there's not a big catalog there. But people very diverse. Roger Zelazny, not necessarily a household name like Ray Bradbury and his contemporaries, because there's not been the definitive TV show or movie made other than Damnation Alley 100 years ago. But as Zelazny blew me away. His the first 5 Chronicles of Amber, I think I've reread. I discovered those in the 10th grade on a shelf in the library, and I think I've reread those 50 times, all 5 books. Poe is a big influence on me. Tim Powers. I'm lucky enough. There's in Los Angeles. There's a paperback book show every year, and a lot of writers come and sign things. And Tim is always there, and I just was a fan, and I'm always dragging my books up, and I've just loved him for years. And again, another person that. He got a lot of notice because the On Stranger Tides is based upon his. Pirates of the Caribbean is based on his book. On Stranger Tides. Oh. So he finally got some literary cred, but he's just an amazing writer, and he mixes fantasy and magic and these things, and incredible writer. So, and shout out to Douglas Adams, gigantic influence on me. There's so much imagination in The Hitchhiker's Guide and then the Dirk Gently books. I'm in awe. I mean, some friends of mine say, how do you come up with those ideas? And then I look at someone like a Douglas Adams, and there's more ideas on one page of Hitchhiker's Guide than I can come up with my entire life. And I love that process, and people like him. And again, so many more. I'm probably forgetting a ton, and probably very good friends. But sorry, guys. Just so many. Giant list.
GC, you had a question, and then we'll close it out with one more after you. So.
Yeah, no, it was a quick one. Because Eric, my ears perked up when you mentioned Polybius, and I know that's like this urban legend of this old video game that supposedly nobody could find and stuff. Is that the book that you're reading?
I literally just started it, so I don't know the story, but I'm assuming that's what it is. So it's a sci-fi horror, and it literally just came out this year also by Colin Armstrong with two L's. So, and search, I'm sure it's on YouTube, his short film Red Harvest. I need to get a hold of him and say, why haven't we ever made that a full movie yet? Because I just remember being so impressed with what he did as a short filmmaker, and I'm really excited. I just literally started opening the book this morning to start reading it. So.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember hearing about it a while back, and I'm big into like those type of urban legends. So that's awesome that you're into stuff like that, man. I mean, I love that you mentioned that you don't put yourself in just one corner, one genre, because I think it's important that as a writer, filmmaker, when you embrace all these different genres, you're able to pick and choose a lot of the good things that come from each one of them, and you're able to create these masterpieces. You're able to keep things a lot more realistic and honed down compared to somebody that tries to make a horror movie, but they've done comedy their whole lives, and they don't really understand like the key elements that go into making something realistic, like a slasher film and stuff.
Yeah, well, that ends up happening in Hollywood a lot because, and I don't mean to make anybody mad, but there's a whole bunch of people in Hollywood, especially screenwriters, that they watch and read other movies. And I run into them all the time. You even run into executives that have never read, they haven't seen this or heard of that. And I don't claim to be, I don't have an English degree. I'm not going to write the great American novel by any stretch, but I've read Greek plays. I've studied theater. I've read, like I said before, I've read Dickens. I've read all these kind of things. And to me, doesn't everybody do that? And you look around and you see a lot of, not all screenwriters that are just, oh, did you read the last screenplay? And so there's this weird churn, especially in Hollywood, where things just start becoming so derivative. And I'm always fond of saying, I still remember seeing it, that zombie genre was so stale. And Danny Boyle and his team came out of nowhere. That was not a horror guy at all, and made 28 Days Later and just blew the doors off of a genre and reignited it. I mean, zombies were always there, but they weren't. I don't think they were the industry that they are now. And thanks to Walking Dead and those teams too. But somebody comes from outside, Danny Boyle. Like who's this? He did Trainspotting, and then he makes arguably one of the greatest horror movies ever. That's just awesome, and that's being open to other people coming in. And he did it respectfully. He wasn't coming in to stomp on people and so I can do it better than you. But there's an absolute element of, I'm sure there was at one point on the set or in development where Danny Boyle went, hold my beer. Watch this.
All right. So to wrap up the interview portion with you, Eric, thank you so much for your time and being here. I know you had mentioned you're going to stay and hang out for a while, but don't know how long you can stay. So that's exciting. So last question for you. What do you have in the works? What's coming up for you? What's next?
Tooling on just promoting Whatever Happened to Uncle Ed, the novel, which is as anyone will tell you who's ever written a novel, and the screenplay. The hardest part is selling it and getting out there. So, just doing all that. And I think most writers are like me. We're not naturally, getting out there and jumping on the stage and saying, buy my book, buy my book. But I think there's a great story there that a lot of people would enjoy if they read it. So I'm doing that. I'm also editing my second novel, which is a little more traditional, but still not quite as wild as Uncle Ed, but it's more of a traditional haunted house story involving ghost hunting and what happens when you might have actually gone into a real haunted house. What could be happening here? So working on that, editing that, hopefully that'll be coming out. Have to finish it first and then do the rounds of submissions and all those fun things. But hopefully that'll be seen soon. And just always tooling on a couple of screenplays. I've got a short list of things that I want to work on and a couple of things I'm working with a few friends. There's a script that I was invited to help rewrite by a couple close friends that's going out right now. So fingers crossed for everyone that'll get picked up. And hopefully one of my originals will get picked up too.
Awesome. That is exciting. So thank you so much for this. If you haven't, yes, round of applause. If you haven't, highly recommend checking out some of his movies. I totally am on what you said about characters, because that is something that stood out to me. I read Whatever Happened to Uncle Ed. I watched Ice Spiders, and both times. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy right while I'm talking.
It's the dog character.
Normally I mute that, but now, your characters stand out, and you put a nice amount of depth. That's one thing that watching Ice Spiders, I'm watching and I'm like, these characters have so much depth for that movie. And it's part of what makes it so much fun and keeps you engaged the whole time. So thank you again for your time today.
Appreciate that very much.
And you stay in the hangout, because we are kicking this off a little bit different. Normally we go right into someone's reviews, but we had a pretty well talked about horror movie come out this month, and I'm pretty sure most of us here on the panel have seen it. And we actually had someone who was unable to make it, so we have an extra 10 minutes to fiddle with here. So I want to talk about Weapons, everyone. So who didn't see Weapons?
I just saw it last night. I went to the theater last night, blown away.
I saw it Friday night.
Yeah. So Jerry hasn't seen it. We'll keep it spoiler free. Especially, my rule of thumb is if it's in the theater still, spoiler free.
Timmy opened a Pandora's box.
But let's talk. So I do, if I may, I'm gonna put in the chat the scorecard that we use over at The Average. And if you are paying attention, listening out in YouTube land, or those of you sitting right here in the panel, if you can take a second throughout the episode, whenever you have a moment, fill out the scorecard, and at the end, I want to get our official average. But we're going to chat about Weapons. So we've all seen it. Well, all but Jerry. Yeah.
I didn't see it either. I am planning to add it to, hopefully it'll be streaming by this time, but it's on my Halloween watch list. Spooky season watch list.
Definitely. And we recorded we did a live stream with Aaron and Back to School, and Jonathan brought up it is a perfect back to school horror movie. And I didn't even think about that until Jonathan said it. And I was like, yeah, it is. Those students vanishing is fantastic. So who wants to go ahead and give thoughts? What were your thoughts of Weapons?
Ooh,
I've got a lot, but I'm afraid it's such a hard movie to talk about without giving anything away. Not just the story and the events, but and again, I'm verging on the edge. But the way the story's told.
Yes,
the structure.
The structure was weird, man.
And the structure of it I didn't expect, and I'm a fan of older movies that do that. Again, trying not to give it away, but an old Kurosawa movie, which famously does that. But I wasn't expecting it to do that structure, and it was kind of a revelation. And not many people tell a story that way.
Mm-hmm. Josh.
Josh. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I feel like I did this last time with Hell House. I feel like I'm doing it this time. Like I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority. And I thought, first things first, the promotional aspect of this film was tremendous. I thought like it bordered on like Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch. Like it was one of those films that like hyped the hype was just so real. I was like I personally love Barbarian, one of Prager's previous films, and I'm waiting for him to outdo it. And Weapons for me just I I understand like everything that happened. And on paper, it's like one of those films I should have really, really loved. It was good, but for me, it just kind of like the ending wasn't the biggest fan of, and it left a lot of questions for me where I feel like I was like more so confused at the end, and it was good again, but not like my favorite film this year by any means.
Josh, you're not alone, man. I saw that post you did, and I agreed with you 100%. I did a podcast episode about a week and a half ago doing a deep dive on it, and I feel like people didn't really understand, and not everybody, but there was a lot of people that didn't understand what Weapons truly was and the meaning behind it, and they all were like coming out of it saying best horror movie of the year, this and that, but it was a lot more than just horror, and it's one of those that the marketing was fantastic. I mean, they copied the playbook of the Blair Witch Project style. I mean, creating that website for it and making it as realistic as possible, and they did an excellent job in this day and age as far as for not giving spoilers in the trailer, because then when you go in, like Eric mentioned, when you go into this film, it's like a whole different thing, and you're like, man, like the way they structured this, the way they're explaining each other's characters, it's fantastic. A great film, but I think if you, for Kelsi and Jerry, since you guys haven't seen it, go into it with different set of eyes. Don't go into it as a horror movie, because if you go into it expecting a horror movie, you might come out a bit disappointed, because it's a lot more than that. And it definitely it lives up to Barbarian. I think in the social commentary sense, it does a fantastic job in that. I think it goes probably even a little bit deeper than Barbarian, but yeah, it wasn't to me a 5-star rating at a Letterboxd, but it did fantastic.
I do think we've mentioned it a little bit. Like, I do think marketing it as the scariest movie of the year is misleading.
Yeah.
That is my biggest issue with it, is that it wasn't really scary. The movie was still fantastic. I still loved the film. Craigers is a fantastic director. His writing, I love Barbarian too. And if you liked Barbarian, I went in knowing that at some point it's gonna Craigers has this unique sense of humor in his movies, and so I wasn't disappointed when that surfaced. When it surfaced, I was like, yes, this is a Craiger film. I love it.
I would say that, okay, 2 reasons why I liked it in a very non-spoilery way. I'm big on characters. I loved all the characters that were presented and performed in the movie. Very excellent performance or excellent character development for so many characters again. And another is that I feel like, okay, maybe it wasn't the scariest movie of the year, but that's a tall order. And I feel like it had so many scenes that creeped me out. And I'm not a huge fan of jump scares. And so this one I felt like gave me the kind of scares that I wanted. And there were some very creeping scares for me.
I actually had just a quick question for Kelsi and Jerry. Even though you haven't seen it, has it been spoiled for you already? Because that, like, even before, right after we saw it in our social media feed, there was just like spoiler after spoiler after spoiler, and I was just like, wow, I'm glad we saw this when we did.
Luckily,
I'm
no.
taking a gamble, but I am so out of the loop of things today. Like, is it just me? I guess because I like nostalgia so much, I'm living in the past. You're obsessed with the clown from the 50s, man. But yeah, maybe I'm living in the past, but I somehow have not seen spoilers yet. Knock on wood. I know I'm taking a risk, but we'll see. I hope it doesn't get spoiled for me. Fingers crossed.
It's hard to avoid the spoilers. The latest episode of Dexter was spoiled for me by a major news article on Facebook. First view. So the episode had been out for 3 hours. Anyways.
I didn't even see any of the marketing, so I live in my own little bubble, and things pop up. Oh, that was 5 years ago, but I didn't see anything, so I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't even know that it was a pure horror movie. And also, one of the beautiful things of it reminded me a bit of Ty West's Innkeepers, another favorite movie. If you just walked into the theater accidentally, got the wrong ticket, probably the first hour, you wouldn't know you're in a horror movie. It's and that's also what I think some of the best books and movies are, that it's about the story and the characters. It can go either way. When you add the weird stuff in and the crazy stuff in, that elevates it. But at the core, I was like, is this a horror movie? I wasn't even sure. And and it turns out, yes, it is. That's not a spoiler.
Yeah, it was very deceiving from the trailers. What I saw in the trailer versus what I saw in the theater totally blew my mind away, because it was not what I expected by any stretch, but was so friggin' awesome. I was just like, I came out of there just like mind blown.
I want to touch on kind of what Elise and Eric mentioned. The characters, I think, is what really stood out for this film. It's I don't like when characters are in a movie just to be in the movie. Like there has to be something to them, and I think with the characters of these, they have a purpose. Every decision they make, there's reasons why they're there, and they culminate all to the end. Reasons why they're there. But I think it is a great job of it's got like some weird comedy and social commentary aspects of it, and subverts expectations tremendously throughout the movie. So,
yeah, I didn't even know Josh Brolin was in it. I really went in, but I again, trying to be delicate around this and not spoil anything. But there's a moment that had to have come obviously from the screenplay, but the performance, and trying not to give anything away. But once you know and you've seen Josh Brolin's character, there's a moment later on when certain things are revealed. I went, oh, that's Josh Brolin's kid. It made perfect sense. And it's such a subtle thing. Again, when everybody sees it, or people who have seen it, you'll know what I'm saying. And it could have just been completely random, but it was so subtly tied into his character. And it blew my mind that, okay, the backstory that's probably just in notes somewhere came just flooding into my head when I went, oh, that was Josh's kid, or the character, whatever his name is. So that'll make sense to anyone who's seen it, I hope.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I saw the film opening night, and I was overall, when I walked out of the theater, I was impressed with it. I think, giving it some thoughts, weeks later, it's to me the way the story is told is the star of the movie, in my opinion. And if we're talking about Zach Kreger, also going back to Weapons, I had a chance to revisit that one, and in that first act, we have Bill Skarsgård and the lead actress, and that whole scene, opening scene, the Airbnb, them getting to know each other, it drew me back to a little film called Psycho, and it just felt, I got like Hitchcock vibes.
Excellent misdirection.
That first act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know, I just found out recently that Mama in that was played by a man and not a woman.
Yes.
I'm probably the last to know that, but I have an autograph, and I looked it up. I was like, oh my gosh.
Alfred Hitchcock Psycho is my favorite movie of all time. So
Yeah.
we can't start talking about that, because I'm going to take up the next 2 hours talking about Alfred Hitchcock Psycho. I wrote a paper on it. Like, I love that film.
I have a quick question just for the panel, and it actually has to do with the ideas of hype and marketing. And I actually commented, I think it was on your post, Josh. I can't remember if it was your post, sorry if it was not. But just the idea of like hype for a movie, setting your expectation when you go into the theater, and also like marketing. So like if a movie is mismarketed and it doesn't meet your initial expectation, do you all maybe like give it some time, think about it, maybe watch it like 6 months or a year later, and then kind of decide like, is this a movie that I like, or is it not a movie that I like? Because I think about that a lot, especially with the Blair Witch Project, because that had just waves of people that hated it because they thought like, oh, this isn't real. Whereas the first viewers that saw it, they thought it was real. Mm-hmm. And then like, years later, if you're watching it like, oh, I used to hate that movie, and you watch it and you're like, this movie is so good. It's a classic. It's one of my personal favorites of all time. But just wanted to hear thoughts about like hype and marketing in movies, because I've been hearing a lot about it in recent releases.
Man, I want to jump in on that one, because I have a very strong opinion on like when it comes to marketing and
We love strong opinions, GC.
That's right. And like, see, for me, I think it depends on the environment that you're in. I will say, when I saw Weapons, I was surrounded by people that just did not respect cinema in any way. I had a lady 2 chairs away from me crinkling a napkin for 10 minutes straight. Like, and it was just like the entire time. People
This is
like
the one that I told you the lady in front of me was on her phone the entire movie.
Oh yeah. I had one of those too. Dude, I had a lady in front of me with her phone on in the cup holder the entire time so I could see her screensaver. And it's just it was
Don't
so
promote
much going
violence, but
so much was going on that the first few minutes of the film I couldn't focus. And I've noticed that I think that depending on the mental state, depending on your age and where you're at in life, it could really affect how you view these films because you're projecting how you're feeling on the inside out, right? But I think it also plays into our societal aspects. And now with everything being online and being so exposed, people are afraid to be the odd one out. So a lot of people will jump on the hype and say, "Oh, this movie's amazing," because they're afraid to share their honest opinion, and then people are going to turn on them, boo them, and nobody wants to be that guy that gets pointed at and be like, "You suck. You don't know what you're talking about with movies, books, music." So it's important to be genuine, but a lot of people don't do that because now, like I noticed that with Weapons, for example. And again, I'm not taking away from it. Loved it. Thought it was fantastic. But to give it, like I did see a lot of people right off the bat that were like 5-star, best movie of the year. I don't care. And I respect the opinion. Everybody has their taste and everything. But to me, 5 stars, like the ultimate, like an Emmy award winning, like I cried, I bawled, like it made me feel something. I'm going to think about it for the next 2 months type of film. And I don't know. I think it's important that when you go into a film, like to go back to it, you should watch it at least 2 or 3 times to really have a full rating for it. Because in those 2 or 3 times, then you might be a little more clear-headed, different environment, different exposure to other people's opinions. I know for me, I gave it a certain rating, and I can't wait to watch it a second and third time because I know that I'm sure there's a lot that I missed with a movie like this. Because they had depths. That's the thing. This movie lacked quite a bit of horror, but it had so much depth that it's just people. I think I haven't had a conversation with anybody that caught a lot of the stuff that I noticed, like the subliminal messages within the movie.
Well, we need to talk because I caught stuff in that movie. I was a teacher for 3 years, so there were some stuff that happened in that movie that really stood out to me. But I mean, I think marketing, unfortunately, in the day we live in, has too much of an influence on what people think about films.
Yeah.
Far too much. And that's personally, I try to avoid it. Kind of like Eric saying he lives in his own little bubble and doesn't see that much about it. Like, if I am excited about something coming up, I will maybe watch one trailer and then scroll past, skip anything else related to that until I can form my own opinion. Because I know that unfortunately I am someone that if I see enough hate, I'm like, yeah, that was awful. And I start to hate it too. And unfortunately that's the case. Like I saw Last Jedi 4 times in theaters trying to convince myself I liked it. And it didn't
Wow,
happen.
that's dedication. Wow.
Well, it's kind of an existential problem too in the business that people aren't going to theaters like they used to. And yes, there's many reasons: the price and the fact that you can see everything in a million different things. But hey, the theaters are church to me. I've been going since I was a kid, and I love nothing more than seeing a good film in a great theater. Mm-hmm. But you get in there, like I got the first time I saw Godzilla -1. I cried. I admit it. I'm not a tough guy. I cried the 3rd, 4th, and 20th time I saw it too. There's people laughing. And it's that experience too that you're driving people away by that disrespectful experience. And this, like, I get it. People were laughing at the right moments, and I think there's something to be said for a marketing that gets you in there in the right mood so that people know what they're coming into. But then when the filmmaker can grab you and make those people shut up, you've made a great film and a great marketing campaign, which is hard to do. I wouldn't want to be a marketer. I'd be terrible at it. But how the hell do you get people into a theater these days?
Yeah.
I just want to add to that quickly. When I saw it, it had probably been out for like 2 weeks, and it was a packed theater still. It was nice to be sort of, a horror movie and be in an environment where it's a packed theater and everyone's into the film and wants to watch it. It was nice to experience that because usually that's not the case.
Yeah, if you're old enough to have seen The Others in a theater, the quietest movie ever. I was lucky enough to have a great experience with the crowd I saw it with. But a friend of mine, I can't go into the story because it's his story, but he had the worst movie theater experience ever trying to watch that super quiet movie. But yeah, and I gotta give kudos to the marketing people and trailer people. I know it's not exactly what we're talking about, but people who cut trailers, that is an art to take all of this footage. And sometimes, yes, they shoot scenes or create things that are in the movie that aren't in the movie, they put in the trailer to get you in the seats. But selling that in 30 seconds how long the trailer is, a minute, it's an art. The people who do that there should be an Academy Award for that. There might be, for all I know.
Ooh, okay.
The Golden Trailer Awards.
There are, yes. Okay.
There should be. Yeah.
There's a thing called the Golden Trailer Awards,
Yes.
and it happens in Los Angeles every year.
Yeah.
But look at me. I live here and didn't know about it. So I'm going to go this time and cheers.
Oh, yes. A Quiet Place was very quiet, and I just wanted to eat my popcorn and enjoy A Quiet Place, and I felt like I was disturbing everyone around me.
Popcorn eating always disturbs me, but that's just a personal thing. So
you go to a dine-in theater, and then you have like someone delivering food, and then loud crinkling packages, and then you're just like, "Can you please stop?"
I will never forget my experience at A Quiet Place because the people next to me brought their baby like in a carrier. The baby was quiet the entire film. Wow. I was amazed. It was amazing.
Well, it was really quiet. There was nothing to wake the baby up.
It was fantastic.
It was truly a quiet place in the theater.
It was one of the best movie going experiences.
Wouldn't that be great to have one of the aliens in the back, and when people start making noise, it would just get them.
Good. All right. That was awesome weapons conversation. I am seeing reviews for weapons populate over here using the link that I dropped in the comments. So thank you guys for that. I'll reveal the results at the end of the episode. But now let's get into, I believe Jerry is first up on our list. Jerry.
What? You have the new guy going first?
Yeah. Unfortunately, your category is actually all new people tonight.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
It is all new people.
It's all right. It's all good. And listen, I don't want to detract from the conversation at all, but I'm so shocked that a lot of that conversation we just had actually tapped into the reason why I haven't seen weapons in the theater. It does take me a lot to go into the theater because I can't stand distractions. So don't shun me, but I'd rather stream. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I am with you. That is why I haven't
you.
seen it.
Thank you.
Marketing almost worked on me.
Yeah.
I was like, I really want to see this. It's going to get spoiled. But it takes so much for me to go now. And I used to love going.
Yeah,
so,
me
Jerry,
too.
I'm with you, man.
Not you, Kelsi. Not you.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Just give me a dark room by myself. That's what I prefer. I can't, like the chewing, the phones, forget it. But yeah, I digress. So, but yeah, thanks. All right, so I guess I'm up first. I just want to do a quick review about a new 2025 film. It's a aquatic horror film. It's a shark horror film. It could be a serial killer horror film. And it's called Dangerous Animals. So I don't know if anyone had checked that out, but I was able to watch it. I watched it twice so I could form a really strong opinion about it. So Shawn Byrne is the director. He's really kind of known for Devil's Candy and The Loved Ones, which is, I would say it's kind of like a cult classic at this point, but this really feels like a new level for him. And let me give a quick plot. I'm not going to do any spoilers because this is fairly new. But Zephyr is a surfer girl who gets abducted by a shark-obsessed serial killer named Tucker. He kidnaps her onto his boat, and now she has to figure out how to escape before he lives out his ritual fantasy of killing people by feeding them to sharks while he films it. So, I mean, that's a pretty crazy plot. Definitely not your average shark horror, where really the shark is the antagonist, and really as long as you're not in the water, you're kind of safe. This really kind of makes humans the monster. And he uses the shark's nature to live out like these crazy, twisted fantasies, and it's definitely a different plot that I never saw before. This is Shutter Film, and I think they have a really strong catalog now. So I felt like kind of positive going into this. Apology, Wounded Fawn, Evil Lurks, Oddity. They're all been like some great films. So I don't think this is any different. This is definitely up there. There's a lot of great shots, cinematography is sharp, it's beautiful. It would have been a gorgeous film if it wasn't for like all the shark mauling. there's a lot of like long, like kind of beautiful ocean shots, and it's very tropical and lush, and make you kind of like want to live there if it wasn't for like this crazy serial killer whose name's Tucker. And just want to get into a little bit of the acting. I think the acting was fantastic. Tucker is a likable character until he's not. He's played by Jay Courtney, who surprisingly doesn't do a lot of horror, but he definitely has like this twisted serial killer thing locked. I mean, he's becomes like terrifying at like a drop, and really make you feel like this guy is like far from a human. His performance reminded me a lot of James McAvoy at times from Speak No Evil, just kind of like that. Yeah, like that deranged psychopathic serial killer with really no regards to like human life. There's like this great scene where he's like sitting down for like, and he's like eating dinner, and he's like, you know, drinking some wine, and he's like sitting there watching like his shark kill video, kind of like enjoying it and like reminiscing about it. And it's like funny, like in a dark humor way, but like kind of really sick as well, which is an interesting kind of dichotomy there. On the other end of the spectrum is Zephyr, who kind of plays like the protagonist. I feel like she's someone that people are either going to love or hate. She's like a very type A kind of personality, rough around the edges, maybe soft at times. But she's kind of just like a dick. I mean, I don't know if I could sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed.
It's okay.
She's played by Hassie Harrison. I should X that in the beginning. She's played by Hassie Harrison, who's done some horror, but it's mostly like a series actor. I think she's in Southbound, which is like an anthology. I don't know if anyone checked that out. I didn't really remember her in it. But I think she played the role well, but personally, I didn't love her. There's a lot of great tension-filled scenes, really where you just don't even know what's going to happen. I felt myself kind of squirming in my seat like quite a bit, like, oh my God, like what's going to happen here? And then there's like plus like really like huge gore scenes and vicious kills with like body parts kind of flying around. It's definitely a horror film, and I think it's getting some hype right now, and it's definitely for like a good reason. Just getting a little deeper into it, I think the film's a lot of things right. I don't think it's perfect. Basically, the whole film's premise is based off of romance that develops like in a few hours. Like Zephyr meets this guy Moses, and they basically just have like this love for Creedence Clearwater, the band, and surfing. Yeah, I mean,
CCR all day, bro.
I mean, there you go. And I mean, they have like a one night stand, and it just doesn't seem plausible for anyone to really put themselves in like these life and death situations, essentially for like a hookup. I mean, maybe it's just me. It's like they just met. And one of the things that kind of bothers me, and this has been happening a lot in films lately, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, but it's becoming like a very common trope where the final girl sequence just kind of goes on for like a really, really long time. It's like that point in the movie where it's usually like a cat and mouse game between like, the killer and the final girl, or there's a big fight scene or something like that. And these scenes like really used to be like a 5-minute scene or so. But lately, just like in every film, like this scene just goes on for like 20 to 25 minutes, and it gets like really repetitive, and it gets kind of boring. Actually, it doesn't really matter what the action is that's happening on the scene. You just kind of like start logging off and feeling like final girl fatigue, I guess is what I like to call it. And you already kind of know what's going to happen, considering who the characters are. So it just goes on for way too long. But outside of that, it's pretty good. I do recommend it. It is buzzing right now, so I definitely didn't give any spoilers, I hope. I just want to say, if you do watch it, just get ready for that. If you have kids or anything like that, or if you're just a fan, just get ready for that Baby Shark theme song to get stuck in your head. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of goes on. I guess it provided, some levity in the film, but it's still a really moody film. And that's it. I mean, if this was my podcast, I would give it a rating right now. and we'd all take a sip for my rating. So if you have a drink, I would say hold it up right now, and I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. So take 3.5 sips with me, and if anyone else seen it, I'd love to hear some thoughts.
Awesome review, man. I loved it. I saw it on the big screen. I thought it was intense.
You did? You went to the theater. That's awesome.
I saw it on the big screen. Yeah, I thought it was entertaining. I feel like they marketed it smartly. It was pretty much what I expected. The story was flawed, like you said, like some of the premise, like how they meet and what transpires. But by the end, you were rooting for them, and I just kind of went with it. And the main guy, the killer, is a fantastic actor.
Guy Courtney.
He was scary on the big screen.
Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see him.
I haven't had a chance to see it. I'll probably wait till it's on Shudder. If it's not already.
Same.
It's good.
It
There's a
looks
coming
good
out
though.
if you're interested.
Your review has me excited to see it, in all honesty. So
awesome. It's good. I mean, it checks a lot of boxes for horror fans. I mean, it could just be, a thriller. It could just be a serial killer film, but it definitely has plenty of gore, plenty of excitement, and a lot of twists and turns along the way. And like I said, there are a lot of moments where I was just like, it just makes you uncomfortable, and you're just like, oh man, like, you feel the anxiety, you feel the tension, and there's not a lot of films that get me feeling like that, and that's definitely why I wanted to talk about this film, and hopefully it gets watched a little bit more because of it. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
awesome, Jerry. Thank you for coming out, being here for your first Dread broadcast. Great job.
Yeah, this
and
is a lot of fun.
That was cool.
You guest in the first spot. You did awesome. All right. We've got Joel up next. Joel, you ready?
You're
spotlighted, so let's hope so.
I like
Okay,
your
well-
blue shirt. It's awesome, Joel.
Thank you. I just got it. I don't know. I'll just talk about what I've watched recently. And that's get prepped for September, October horror movies. I saw Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I really like that one. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. Just last night I saw The Hills Have Eyes from 2006. I also gave that 3 stars. So I'm a big reader, mostly around the horror genre. And whenever I get a chance to go to Barnes & Noble, there's 2 things I check out first. There's the physical media section and the horror section. And I just picked up this book. And this book.
Hellhound is so good. I love Hellhound. It's one of my favorite animal attacks. So good.
By the look of the cover, I'd say it's from the 80s. I don't know.
It is, but that's like the new release of it. But yeah, I'm dying to get an original copy, but it's very rare.
Love that cover.
This one.
Oh yeah, Come Closer is great too. That's like a possession, but a little different take.
And just this one.
Cool. Great pickups.
Tapping into Kelsi's specialty here.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to chime in, but
No, you're.
I'm just telling you got some good books here, man.
I think it's always more fun with
Finished
conversation.
this one too.
Oh,
This one's
cool.
great.
I haven't read that one.
Is that based off of the Italian film, or is that?
That's what I thought too, but it's not. Oh. That's all I got, guys.
Okay. That's all right. That's all right. Okay. That means Elise and Tony are up next.
Okay. Well, we have a love-hate relationship with trailers. As we've talked about, marketing is tricky and we try to avoid it like the plague. But one of our ways to combat that is on our podcast, we like to review trailers for movies that are coming out. So we have 3 movies coming out in September that we want to talk about. We typically watch the first trailer and then try to avoid any trailer 2 as much as possible.
Yeah, by the time you get to trailer 2,
That's when
all the spoilers happen.
Yeah, they dropped the spoilers in them.
Yeah, teasers are the best.
Teasers are the
Yeah.
best. Ooh, which brings me to our first film that we want to talk about coming out in September. Comes out September 12th. It's called Traumatica. And I feel like so far, I feel like it's just the teaser trailer that's out right now. Maybe there's another one. But we actually did have a chance to see this movie at a screening in Los Angeles at Vidiots in Los Angeles, if anyone knows that.
Shout out to Vidiots.
Shout out
It's
to
an
Vidiots.
awesome video store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got to see a screening of it directed by Pierre Tsagardis, written by Maxime Rancon and Pierre Tsagardis. It's fantastic. We don't want to spoil too much about it, but performances by Rebecca Kennedy and Susan Gale Watts. They're so captivating on screen. And there are some really good scares and creep factors, and also some good little hints of comedy peppered in here and there. So,
Yeah. And it's a movie that will take you to places that is unexpected. And actually, I kind of feel like some people watching the movie won't like that aspect of it, because it almost seems like it could possibly be two movies. But I don't know. Is that a spoiler? I don't know if
It
that's a
might be
spoiler.
a spoiler.
Sorry. I try not to, but
because the teaser really doesn't tell very much at all, but it has some really good cinematography.
yeah. And for an indie horror film, there's definitely, like, you're going into it and you're not going to get the same sort of scenes or action or whatever as like a big budget horror film. So you kind of, like, when we go into indie horror films, we kind of have that in the back of our minds. Like, it's incredible to make a film. It's so hard to make a film. And just like watching actually one of the best things about indie horror films is that they often break the rules of horror films. And we really love that. So yeah,
they break the rules and they're scrappy because they have a lower budget typically. So,
So
Give it a
Traumatica,
watch.
check it out, September 12th. The second film that we wanted to talk about was a movie that we have not seen. So this one is a bigger budget release. It is the movie Him, and it is the movie that is produced by Jordan Peele's company, Monkey Paw, and starring Marlon Wayans, Julia Fox, and Tyreek Withers. And Tyreek Withers, he was recently in the reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Although I don't know if I was a fan of him in that movie.
I liked him.
She liked it. But this looks like, and I'm very curious about this movie just because I can't recall the last time I've seen a sports themed horror movie aside from maybe like cheerleaders, right? And I was trying to like think of like what comes to mind, and I was thinking of movies like The Fan, which was more of like a thriller. And one of my favorite movies as a kid was The Last Boy Scout, which actually starred Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
Also more of like a crime thriller, but it had some horrific elements to it. So I'm just really curious about him. I don't really have super high expectations for this, but it looks like it's going to deal with traumatic brain injury and sort of like becoming the best at something and going to the extreme length and doing whatever it takes to become the best at something, whether that's like, I kind of feel like it's going to go in the direction of some sort of psychological horror, maybe possession type thing. Not exactly sure.
Yeah.
The trailer was wild.
It was
wild.
I liked it.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to have some really stunning visuals.
Yeah, it's
and I really like Marlon Wayans in this type of role. I think he's really good at it. I'm just remembering Requiem for a Dream and how good he was in that movie. So I'm excited to see him in this movie, and we're excited to see it in the theater, of course. Even if people are crunching popcorn, usually
we'll take the gamble.
Actually,
it's usually Tony.
It's usually me, so sorry about that.
It's all him. I'm like staring at him like, stop.
Yeah, she's
eating.
like nudging me like, hey, stop.
It's usually during like a really emotional moment. I'm just like, I'm crying and he's chopping.
Okay, and then the third
the
one.
last one we want to talk about, I'm excited for this. I don't know if anybody else is, but Jester 2.
Oh,
The mask
okay.
for Jester is amazing. I
Right?
love the mask.
Yes.
I love the mask.
Okay, it's coming out September 15th. I happened to watch the first Jester last year on a whim. On a whim. I wasn't expecting very much, but I was pretty impressed with it. And yes, it does seem like in the same vein as Terrifier, but it's like if you take Terrifier and make it a Lifetime movie, and I kind of like Lifetime movies, so it was fun for me.
Lifetime used to go hard on the thrillers back in the day.
They really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Psychotic girlfriends, crazy babysitters, they're fun. And so Jester just takes that kind of mood and puts a creepy Jester in it that can do whatever. So I'm excited for Jester too. I watched the teaser trailer, and again, I appreciate that it did not really spoil too much. So let's go Jester 2.
Your talk of Jester has me sold on it. Like now I want to watch it.
It's
No,
Now I
you
wanna
should.
watch it.
You should.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so those are sort of the three. I know there's a lot coming out in September. I feel like we are still sort of in a horror renaissance.
Yeah.
And there are some big studio productions that are come out, some that start with The Conjuring, that I'm not as excited to see.
But we are excited to see
But we
like
will
the
see
long
it,
walk,
yeah.
but we just feel like we can't really talk about the long walk because it's like based off the
Okay,
long
if you want to talk about like spoiling the movie in the trailer, do not watch the trailer for The Long Walk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do not watch that. If you've read the book, then you probably know what's going to happen.
You mentioned you're not super excited for the Conjuring movie. I'm kind of. You can expand on that, but also panel. Who's eagerly awaiting the final Conjuring film?
I am. I love that damn franchise. 3 was not the best, but I love 1 and 2. I think those are 2 of the best horror films I think I've ever seen. So I'm hoping that they kind of wrap it up nicely and keep it scary and kind of maybe revert back to some of their older material. But yeah, I'm hoping it's going to end well.
I'm on board with you. I love 1 and 2. 3 was okay, but this is the same guy who did 3.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's my one concern is I hope they stick the landing with this one because I mean it's within the main continuity of the Conjuring franchise, so we'll see.
Yeah,
we just did an episode with GC talking about The Conjuring, so Jordan and I were involved in that.
Yeah,
But
you guys got to check it out. We talked about also like horror, like you guys were talking about like ghost stories and stuff. We incorporated that on there. So Josh, I think you'll enjoy that a lot.
We went on a couple tangents in that, but we will be doing for Jonathan's and I regular show. We're going to be reviewing the final one. So you guys, if you want to join that conversation, hit me up after the show and we'll get you involved in that. But
I haven't seen any of the Conjuring movies.
Hey, I just want to say though, speaking.
Oh wait, yeah, who said that? I didn't see any of the Conjuring movies.
Jonathan.
All right,
Me,
I like that.
I haven't seen it. Sorry.
Yes.
I have a lot of catching up to do, a lot of movies after talking with Aaron yesterday. So yeah, I got a lot of work to
you
do.
got 3 Conjuring movies to watch this week before we do the 4th one.
There you go. There you go. And I
I
just
can
wanted
make it
to say,
happen. I can make
speaking
it
of
happen.
marketing, they say they saved the best for last in the trailer, so it has to be good, right?
That's
Ooh,
I couldn't even
yeah,
make
yeah.
it through the first trailer. So if in all honesty. All right. Tony, Elise, thank you so much. Was that all you had? You got more?
Just quickly, well, I had a
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
If you all get a chance to see a movie called Jimmy and Stiggs, you really need to go see it. It had a really limited release in theaters. I'm hoping that it comes out on Shudder or wherever it's going to be released. But it's shot in 35 millimeter. The guy who made the film, Joe Bagos, also did Christmas Bloody Christmas, which is an awesome film.
And Bliss. Yeah.
And he basically made this film over the course of 4 years in his apartment. And he just completely trashed this thing. It is like a deranged, drug-fueled, I don't know, like alien blasting movie.
Yeah. He's directing, acting, and he's the DP.
He used a live chainsaw when he was filming it, and that seems pretty dangerous.
While filming.
Yeah. Highly recommend it. One of my favorite movies of the year for sure. Yeah.
And
Super underrated.
Oh yeah, it's great. Great soundtrack. Oh man, great effects. Yeah.
I think Joe Bagos are awesome. His films, they're so different, and just the look of them. They have such a unique look. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot about that one, so I'm going to have to keep my eyes out for that. So, Tony, Elise, thank you. I love adding trailer talk to the conversation. So that is awesome. I follow you guys, and I love that part of what you do. I really do. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
that.
us.
All right. Aaron, are you ready? Are you
ready,
next on
man?
the
I
list?
can jump in.
Oh,
You
wait,
gonna
no,
put me
I have
up?
Kelsey.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't want to
Aaron,
mess
you
up
can
the
go
order.
first.
Just
You've been
kidding.
gone.
I don't mind.
Teased us.
Okay,
You've been
I don't
gone
want to
a
mess
month.
up the order in case anybody is like, that's going to cause anxiety in somebody.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay. Well,
Take it
I
away,
really
Kelsey.
don't mind. Are you sure, Aaron?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Okay.
Well, I missed you last month, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say. But
Oh,
thank you
absolutely.
for
I got
letting
some
me go.
movies to recommend, but yes, by all means.
Thank you. All right, so as I said earlier a little bit, I don't know why, but I really love to read clown, carnival, circus, fair type of books to close out the summer and to get me in the mood for spooky season. And I don't know if it's because my fair growing up was in like early September or mid-September, or if this is just some association from like old school movies that I watched growing up. I really don't know why I connect carnivals with like this great transitional kind of trope, but I do. I love a carnival setting. I love clowns in books and movies. And spoiler, I will not be talking about Stephen King's It, because my whole goal here, I've said this so many times, I've been on here, I want horror movie fans to become readers. And I don't always think that Stephen King, although I do love a lot of his books, I don't think he's always the most like newbie reader friendly. And definitely don't go pick up It if it's the first book you're ever trying to read, because I was not a lifelong reader. I did try to read It back in the day, and it's hard. It's difficult. It's a chunker. So although that is a great kind of clown book, there's more to it than that. But there are a lot of other, great books with clowns, and also great books with a carnival setting. So I'm here to talk about some of those today. But I'm already ready for spooky season. I got my freaking candy corn headband. I got my freaking Halloween earrings. I literally cannot wait. I'm acting like tomorrow is October 31st, even though it's just going to be September 1st. But whatever. That is why I'm kind of trying to do this transition from summer to fall. I just think these books are the best. So earlier we were mentioning the book Hellhound. That is a paperback from hell. That is a term basically coined in popularity by Grady Hendrix. And really it's just a blanket term to refer to any kind of old school paperback that's not like Stephen King. I usually call any old school 80s horror book a paperback from hell. So I have a paperback from hell here that I have not read. This is the only one in the pile I've not read, but I not only read books, I also collect them. It's one of my little vices I have. And I have not read this, but I hope one day maybe I can, but I do have like thousands of these. But the freaking cover, it's a carnival book. It's called Destiny's Carnival, for those of you who can only hear audio. It is by Warren Murphy and Mark Brownwood. I would Google the cover because it's freaking badass. You got a devil claw like coming out of a dude's head, splitting like a little kid's head open.
It's pretty amazing.
Hell yeah. And it's embossed. They don't make covers like this anymore. You can
They
feel
really
it.
don't.
It's raised up. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it says, unspeakable evil, sinister powers, creatures of darkness, welcome to Destiny's Carnival.
I love that.
Yeah. Anyway, so that, please bear with me. I just wanted to show off this cool cover. I know, it is incredible, Jessica. And speaking of Jessica, I know we had her on, and I know I literally just talked about this book like 2 episodes in a row, but we can't talk about carnival books without giving a quick mention to, yes, this does say Ivy Tholen. She's dead. However, Jessica Lacey here in the chat has revived this book and revised it and is re-releasing it perfectly, coming out in September.
This
You can
month,
pre-order it right now. This takes place at the end of summer. These girls basically are doing a scavenger hunt type of situation, and they break into this abandoned or shut down for the season Halloween carnival. And I love this book so much because it utilizes the setting to the maximum when it comes to the kills. If you're looking for great creative kills, this has it, but it also has great character development. And I don't want to talk too long about it because I've talked a lot about it, but I can't go through, carnival books without shouting out Jessica Lacey's Taste Like Candy. And yes, I will be getting the revised edition. I just don't have it yet, but all hail Jessica Lacey's Taste Like Candy. Seriously, it's a great carnival book. Seriously. And another very
The
quick...
liquor.
She's laughing because I'm praising her. But another Carnival book that everyone knows about, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that this is worth the hype, is Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes. And I want to shout it out because look at this edition. This
Awesome.
is a Folio Society edition.
That's so
This
cool.
is the slip cover. So you got a creepy
Drooling.
kind of carousel horse. But look at this freaking bad boy.
It's beautiful.
It's for those who can't see, it's a yellow cover with beautiful red illustrations kind of drawn, embossed in it. It's lovely. I'm going to read this edition next time I reread this book, but yeah, it's fantastic.
Nice.
Now, you could give me some, you know, some shit, I guess, for saying that, oh, Stephen King's not approachable for new readers. You might be arguing the same thing for Ray Bradbury. However, I really think if you want fall vibes, the Carnival book for you is Something Wicked This Way Comes, because there's no other book ever that is more fall than this book. And although the language is uber poetic and is very hard to read physically, audiobook is your friend, especially if you're a new reader. Audiobook while you read along, or just audiobook, alone, might be your friend, because I listened to this as I read along physically with my eyes. Great way to experience. And if you're looking for a wonderful film adaptation, the 1983 version, the movie version of Something Wicked, is fantastic. It's not streaming, unfortunately, but you can get it on DVD. Highly recommend. One of the best book to movie adaptations, in my opinion, ever. And
Agreed.
Carnival vibes.
It's
Just
so
a quick
good.
mention.
So
It
good.
is
Why don't
good.
we have a 4K copy of that? I'm
I
still,
know.
even a Blu-ray, I'd be happy with it.
I would buy it in a flippin' second, Aaron, if it was on freaking Blu-ray or 4K. I don't care. It's such a beautiful
sure.
film.
I have the DVD. I guess
Me
we'll
too.
have to be happy with that for now.
But it's not enough. We just want it even
It's not
better.
enough,
It's
exactly.
beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, so now for kind of like the more under the radar, really quick things. So first up, we've got The Pilo Family Circus by Will Elliott. This is a really weird, I would almost kind of describe this as kind of semi-bizarro fiction. So yes, it has horror elements, but it also has some dark humor. It's very odd. So to kind of give you a synopsis is hard, but essentially this guy Jamie gets kidnapped by these clowns from this alternate universe, and while he's with them in this alternate universe, he puts on this face paint and he becomes JJ the clown. And JJ and Jamie are like two different people. One with the face paint, he gets all maniacal and crazy. He basically is sabotaging himself, and when he takes off the face paint, then he's like back to normal, wanting to go home, wanting to get out of this universe he's trapped in. So I don't want to say too much more, but if you like, this has like some gore, some darkness, like I said, kind of like a bizarro touch. Very unique clown story, not your typical carnival story at all, because it does have some fantasy vibes, I would say, but it definitely has horror for horror fans, so don't be put off by the mention of some fantasy inclusion. This really has it all. It's a mesh of a lot of different things, but it works together quite well. Another book that may not be for everyone, but this is a fantastic book. So this is Geek Love by Catherine Dunn. And this is a more literary book, so it's not going to be for horror movie fans exclusively per se. Like, I don't think every horror fan would just be able to pick this up and love it. However, if you're someone who doesn't mind literary writing, the word geek, if you didn't know anything about carnival history, it is someone who used to work at a carnival and basically tear the heads off of chickens. That is like a carnival geek. So when you hear the title Geek Love, no, it's not about two nerds falling in love. It is about like literally like carnival geeks and a carnival family and their lineage, essentially. So basically this mom and dad decide to start a family, and they decide to breed their own freaks on purpose. So they take all kinds of chemicals in the hopes of having, I know this is like extreme, but having, deformed, special, quote, freak children. It's crazy. So the premise isn't for everyone, the writing isn't for everyone, but honestly, the characters in here, especially our main character, Ollie, is lovable. And some of the passages are really, really creepy, and some of the characters are creepy. So although it's more literary leaning, there is some horror in here. There's a dude with a bag for a mother effing face. Like, he literally doesn't have a face. He has a bag, and he, like, breathes through the bag, and it, like, flaps. And anyway, so there is horror, believe it. Believe me when I say this, but it does have some kind of flowery writing as well. Audiobook is available for this too, for anybody who might be intimidated by the language. I just think this is one of the most well-written books of all time. Not just one of my favorite carnival books, one of my favorite books, period. It's really fascinating. If you like unusual family dynamics or effed up families, this is your jam, I'm telling you. All right, and just quickly, almost done, about one more.
Seen a lot about this one.
One more and an honorable mention. So Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson. He's written a lot of books, in my opinion, that come off like you're, you know, watching a movie, but you're reading it in book form. I think he's very good at that. There's some people who can pull that off quite well. I've talked about that here on this show before. Jessica Lacey is somebody who can do that. David Sodergren, someone who can do that. Adam Caesar is an author who can do that. All authors great to pick up if you love horror movies, but you want to get into reading and feel that fast-paced kind of horror movie vibe, but in a book. This book, I feel like, has that. So you got a group of teenagers going to a carnival, and there's some kind of dark history that happened at the carnival a long time ago. People didn't care. They reopened it anyway, including keeping the kind of creepy, kind of haunted old school cotton candy machine, which may influence people who eat the cotton candy to turn into psycho killing clowns. Yes. But don't
Genius.
Yes, very
like
genius. And the cotton candy description is so sick. It's like, oh, this black, like, spidery web sickness. Like, oh, it sounds so off-putting. I love cotton candy. If someone could make me think cotton candy sounds gross, Christopher Robertson did it. I didn't think it could be done, but he accomplished that. But it has humor too, though. So kind of light, kind of B-movie-esque, not totally serious. This is the first book of a series. However, you can kind of read it as a standalone. It wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't mess things up if you just stopped at the first book. But I have read the second book, but I like the first one better. So I really think you could have a fun time if you like any of the things I mentioned. And has anyone else here read this one? Because that one's kind of popular. I would say out of all, like, besides Something Wicked, this might be the most popular one I talked about.
I've seen a lot about it, but not read it yet.
I think you'd like it. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's got, like, some humor. I feel like Christopher Robertson kind of writes similar to Jessica in that there's, like, a horror movie vibe to the writing. And last, just quickly, if you like middle grade reads, I know a lot of us grew up loving Goosebumps. I didn't always love Goosebumps because I wasn't a big reader growing up, but now I do. I'm kind of reliving my childhood as an adult in a way by discovering some Goosebumps for the first time today, like in my mid-30s. But this is very Goosebumps-esque, but it's really scary. Like, I was surprised how creeped out I was by this. This is a Spine Shivers book, so that's the series, and the title of this book is The Grin in the Dark by J.A. Dark, D-A-R-K-E. So a little play on words almost. Like, I don't think that's his real name, but it's wonderful. If it's a pen name, it's quite fun. But this one is really creepy. Basically, this guy, this young teenager, goes to babysit his two twin cousins, and his aunt collects clown dolls. So all over the house there are these clown dolls, and his two cousins are like, oh, we just saw a clown, like, standing over our beds. We're afraid to go to sleep. And he's like, you're just imagining it. It was just one of your mom's dolls. Go to sleep. But he starts to, like, suspect that maybe it's not a doll in the house with them that the twins are saying they saw in the room. So that's where it gets kind of creepy. And it was kind of surprisingly a little bleak and scary for a children's book or a middle grade book. So highly recommend if you just like, you know, if you're a kid at heart and you like middle grade reads. They're easy, they're quick, they're short. And this one I thought had some creepy vibes. So that's my,
I like the cover
picks.
Good cover art.
Yeah, the cover art's fantastic. That's another thing, is it's like a really creepy clown on the cover.
How many pages is that book?
It is only, hold on. Sorry, there's discussion questions in the back. It is 108 pages, so super short, super readable, easy to, like, binge quickly. And the last thing I want to talk about quickly, if I want to plug my event, self-promotion, like
Do
selfish
it.
self-promotion. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
that's what it's
You are
about.
all allowed to self-promote as much as you want while you're on here. That's what this is for.
I appreciate it, but this one basically, if you love community, like this whole show is about celebrating community. I'd love to tell you guys about my little like Halloween / spooky season event I'm running for free online. Anybody in the world, anywhere from home can participate. You can participate solo, or you can join in and become a part of our community. We've got a Discord, which I'm literally going to be showing watch parties for people. You don't have to rent the movie. We rent, if there's renting that needs to be done, we rent it, we show it. You just jump into our like watch channel and you watch along, and you could chat along with us as we all watch. And it's so much fun. So I'll be doing movie streams the whole event long, and also we have live streams on YouTube where we literally just like chat and discuss what we're doing for hours. We have little time breaks where we go off and like watch part of a movie or read part of a book, come back after the timer goes off and like talk about what we've been up to. They're called sprints, but they're really fun. It sounds weird, but it's a lot of fun, and they get really chaotic and unhinged, and it's just a great event if you want to become part of a community who loves spooky season. The basic idea is I provide you guys, if you go to my YouTube channel, Slime and Slashers, and you go look at my Halloween-a-thon is what it's called. If you go look at my announcement video, in the description of the video, you could find everything you need, including the Discord links, including I have all these printable documents. We have a little town map, and I made a game board, a blank one and a numbered one that you can use. You could put your own prompts on them, or you can use our prompts, and like a prompt is like, okay, read or watch a movie that has a number in the title. You could literally go through and use my numbered board and make a list of movies you own on your shelf, and you make the rules of the game. So you decide how you want to go across our little game board, which again has all these thematic little areas like a little pumpkin patch and whatever. I got different horror creators highlighted all along this map, so you can discover new creators while also participating, because each little location is kind of in honor of a certain person who does horror content or Halloween content. So I just think it's a great way to get people involved, to get people to find other creators. Again, it's Halloween-a-thon, and the announcement video for 2025 is up on my channel, Slime and Slashers, and I'd love to have you join our community, especially the Discord. The Discord's so fun. Become a part of the community. Join our cult. Come on.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Is there a link to the Discord?
There is. The link is in my announcement video. I didn't give Tim the link, but thank you so much, Jessica. Yeah, so there's like, you don't even have to play the game board. I even have a bingo board. So say if you just want to mood read and mood watch, you could literally just like put stuff in the bingo board after if you really want to like, oh, I want to use these printables. I want to print out this stuff and actually mark on it. Freaking watch something, and I guarantee you it will match one of our prompts. Even if it doesn't, put the title of what you watched in the little bingo board. You complete the bingo board. It's like you visited our little Halloween town, because this is our little town. And the whole thing is you're, 9 locales, 9 squares on a bingo board, or you play through the game board, which is like you're visiting the 9 locales. So
This is crazy. It's awesome.
thank you. It takes a long time to prepare, I can tell you that. But
were you a teacher in a past life?
no, I'm a planner though, and I might as well have been a teacher.
This is like elementary teacher level of planning and organization, and I love it because I was in elementary for 2 years, so I respect that.
Some people who homeschool their kids actually, like, this is only the second year we've done it, but I've had like a whole family do it as part of their like curriculum, which I think is so fun.
Nice.
And like, they pick spooky books based on the prompts, and some people just do it for movies. So again, it's movie watcher friendly, but also we've got activity prompts. So it says like, go to a haunted corn maze, or, go carve a pumpkin, go to a pumpkin patch. Like, we've got activities, or you can, again, just use your own prompts or your own things you want to do, watch, or read. And that's it. So sorry to take up so much time.
No, that is awesome. That is so cool. Definitely check that out. Kelsi.
That's so cool.
GC,
One more question.
Yeah, Joel.
Kelsi, name your top 5 Goosebump books.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I love The Haunted Mask is my number 1, and I think the adaptation, the 2-part like TV show adaptation is so good. And if you're looking for a fall read, the book and the Haunted Mask, the 2-parter episode is fantastic. But I also really like Welcome to Dead House, which is Goosebumps number 1. That one's great. Let's Get Invisible is great.
Monster Blood.
Monster Blood's awesome. Werewolf of Fever Swamp. I've got my whole stack right here next to me. Oh, Say Cheese and Die is one of my favorites. That one's great too. So, yeah.
Love that one.
Really, like, I've liked every Goosebumps I've read, so I can't really say I dislike. I mean, there's some that are better than others, but those are some of my favorites.
Awesome. So we keep asking Kelsi back. She keeps wanting to come back too. She's not forced under
Not at all.
any duress to be here, because so many horror fans have grown up to write books.
Yes.
And so many horror fans think just the movies are where they can find what they want, but there are amazing and fantastic horror books out there. Get out there and read.
Especially today. Jessica and I were like DMing on Instagram today, and we were literally talking about, like, people don't get it because they might only think that if they tried Stephen King and it didn't work, that they're not a reader. I was them. I thought I was not a reader because I tried a few things. There's so much more out there. There are books that are like horror movies because the people who grew up loving horror movies like you guys are now writing these books.
Yep.
So it's
exactly.
cool.
So Kelsi's going to keep coming back because I'm an avid reader as well and want horror fans. If you have come here for movies and you end up picking up a book that Kelsi recommends, want to hear what you thought about that. The books are just as good as the movies. Sometimes better. Like Salem's Lot has not touched the book Salem's Lot yet, but the original TV series is fantastic. But anyways, so all right, Kelsi, awesome. Thank you so much. Josh, if I'm going off my list here, Aaron, I'm so sorry. I like.
No, it's cool. I love the anticipation. You've got me on edge now.
Yeah.
Hey, when I'm going.
Aaron's going next. Josh
I'm next.
Is up.
Okay.
Josh is up.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for Aaron to go, actually. So this is, we'll jump right in. I wanted to cover weapons. I think we discussed it. But I do, going back to what Eric and everyone else was saying kind of about like the movie experience, I just want to cover when I first went to see Weapons. It was like a Friday afternoon, and I went into the theater. And on 4 separate occasions, the lights, or the screen went dark, so you could only hear what was happening. And it got to the point about halfway through the film, they just stopped the movie and closed the lead. So I think that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth initially. But it was easily the worst theater experience I've ever had in my entire life. So definitely going to give it a rewatch just to make sure I'm on the right page here. But I'm going to start off with 3 YouTube shorts. I love horror in all its facets, but I find that there's some quality shorts on YouTube from some very talented folks. So the first one is called Don't Watch Alone. And basically this girl is in her house. She finds a box of VHS tapes in her attic. One of them says Don't Watch Alone. And of course she watches it alone. And it basically shows this guy about to kill himself. And she turns it off before anything, you see anything. But the rest of the short is kind of her being haunted by this guy. There's some great camera work. It's not overtly terrifying, but it's just so ominous to watch. And I thought it was overall very well done. So Don't Watch Alone. It didn't come out in August, but it's one I watched in August, so I'm including it. These 2 did. The next one's called The Pencil, and it's actually a Japanese film, I believe. But basically, this artist comes across a rather comically large wooden pencil, and she realizes that whatever she draws with it becomes reality. So she starts off, she draws a flower or something, and the flower appears in front of her. But basically it gets to the point where she realizes, she's like, oh, I'm going to draw some money. So she draws a bunch of money and it appears right in front of her. She takes it and goes into her room to stash it, leaving her pencil at the house with her younger brother. And her younger brother draws this very creepy folklore creature. And obviously that comes to life, and some creepy shit happens in their little home. So the production value was great in this one. It's acted well. It's just, I think overall, just a very well done short. So The Pencil. And then the last one is Mr. Static. And this one is, this woman is forced to watch people get murdered on her TV. There's a mysterious signal that shows up at her house, and basically this voice, it's you need to watch this right now. And it's just this guy with this buzzsaw type thing, and he just murders people. It kind of found footagey in that way, the videos themselves. But it gets to the point, if she doesn't watch the videos, she then will be killed. So there's a kind of a tough scene where you're they can't possibly show what's going to happen here. And she turns away. She refuses to watch. And this very interesting spirit demon thing kind of shows up and hunts her down. It's done really well. It's very, very like stressful to watch. My only gripe with it would be like the blood is not, it doesn't seem very realistic at all. But I don't know if that was intentional or not. But other than that, it's just a very well done short as well. So those are three I'd definitely recommend checking out on YouTube if you guys are into YouTube shorts or horror shorts in general. Getting into the features, the first two are, again, not something I watched in August, or something I watched in August but came out a little while ago. The first is called Survive the Hollow Shoals, and it's a found footage film. And for anyone who loves like the Blair Witch or any like woodsy kind of found footagey style film, this is one of the best I've ever seen. Basically, this survivalist goes out into the woods. His friend's like, "Oh, you should go out to this one place. There's some creepy stuff that happened, but like you'll be fine." So he goes out there. He makes this little fort, and like almost right away, very, very creepy stuff starts happening. There's this like woman witch ghost. I'm not entirely sure if she's honestly alive or dead, but there's paranormal stuff happening all around. It's jam packed with jump scares. Definitely one, like I said, like I like the Blair Witch, but this one to me was at least 3 times scarier. Like it was just like there were multiple times where I was like, "Good Lord!" Like things are popping out left and right. So if you like found footage or woodsy films, definitely recommend that. The next is a Japanese film called House of Sayuri, and I could only find it on Dailymotion. Apart from like scouring some very sketchy sites, it's the only other place I could find it. So, and I actually did a review, or like I saw a write up about it. I think on like Bloody Disgusting like a year ago, and I was like, I can't wait to see this. So I was reminded of it and searched it and was able to check it out. But it's I absolutely loved it. It's kind of a movie told in 2 parts, but it starts off, this family moves into this house where something very tragic happened prior to them moving in. Obviously, they don't know about it, but a lot of bad things happen to this family. And the oldest son and the grandmother end up becoming this like dynamic like action duo. And it starts off as like this scary, like straight, like you run of the mill paranormal haunted house film, and it turns into this like action comedy with this grandmother and her grandson. And it's just I was so entertained. There's some kind of tougher scenes to watch, but overall, it's just a very well done film. If you're into foreign films, highly recommend it. If I could give you a better place to watch it, I would. Dailymotion was the only place I could find it at the moment, unfortunately. Next up, I have American Sweatshop. This one is not out yet. I think it comes out September 19th. But basically, this girl works for a company that flags videos on the internet, and she decides basically, based on whatever their criteria is, if she should delete the video or leave it online. And some of the videos are like a little silly. Some of them are, they don't even show the video. It's just like the title's like Fetus in Blender or something like that. Like it gets pretty intense. But she ends up watching this one video of this woman being tortured. And it really like, it's one of the videos. She's like, I can't even deal with this. She faints, she passes out. And the rest of the film becomes her trying to hunt down the 2 dudes in that video. I think it's acted well. Very unique kind of concept. My only issue with it, I think the trailer is slightly misleading in that it kind of reads as like a fast-paced, almost action film, and it's definitely not that. It's more of a slow burn. So if you're okay with that, then I definitely recommend American Sweatshop. It's, again, very interesting in how they kind of mapped it all out. The last one, and this has been brought up already, but I also saw Traumatica. And this was one of those films where I love Two Witches, and it comes from the guys who made that. I think Rebecca Kennedy is an underrated scream queen, and she's incredible in this film. But essentially, this young boy is being held captive by this possessed woman at this very like ramshackle house, and they kind of break the story up into like it's like a timeline, but it's I can't get too deep into it because there's kind of a lot of moving pieces, but very, very well done. It's definitely on the more wild side. There's some very, very tough scenes, and it covers a lot of basically the broad spectrum of abuse. If you can name it, it's basically in that film. So I think there's definitely some shock value in it. But overall, I think if I'm still kind of digesting it, honestly. I watched it, I think, maybe like a couple weeks ago. But it is one of those films that like has stuck with me because I'm just like, what the hell just happened? It was one of those kind of very shocking films. So it's definitely very creepy. There's some great scares. The story's pretty good. And if you're someone who enjoys, I wouldn't throw it in the same bin as Terrifier, but it's like there is some definite shock value for folks who like films like that. So Traumatica, definitely check it out if you're into it. That's it.
All right, so I'm curious. I keep hearing a lot about Traumatica, and everybody kind of keeps talking about how intense it gets. So those of you that have seen it,
I mean,
what would be comparable to it?
Oh, it's kind of tough.
Is it gory? I've heard it's really gory too.
It is gory, but like I don't want to say tastefully so, but like they don't like. They do it in a way where you're not like Jesus, but I think more so like the kind of tougher scenes with Rebecca Kennedy and her father, and this poor kid when he's trapped in the house with her is also pretty hard to watch. I will say, not to dodge what it's comparable to, but my last note on this is there's some great POV shots where the director takes the camera and basically like they're running through the house like the little kid, and it just built up this like tremendous sense of tension. Where I was like, oh god, like it almost made you feel like you were being chased. So there's definitely some very like well done shots in that regard. But I still can't really think. I mean, I can't think of anything that might, that I'm like, oh yeah, that's clearly what it would be like.
You know what it is? It's I can tell that Traumatica has had some strong influence by a lot of really classic horror movies. And I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but the opening scene is very reminiscent of the opening scene of The Exorcist. And then I see like elements of certain possession movies and just other, I don't want to like spoil too much, but.
And there are some nods to Halloween. So you can tell it's made by filmmakers who are a fan of the genre. But I would say, I mean, as far as like subject matter, the word trauma is in the title. So there are a lot of issues that involve different types of trauma that can be tough to watch. So that's the subject matter that I think is probably the hardest to watch, is those traumatic and trauma-inducing events.
So it's more the emotional impact of what is happening on screen versus the visceral impact of what is happening on screen.
I think it's a little bit of both, because there are definitely some moments where the tension that they build in the film is done really well, like between score and just like the mood of the setting of the characters, and also some gore. So it kind of does both, and for me,
I'm intrigued. So.
I definitely recommend checking it out. I don't know if it will be for everyone, but I think that definitely a lot of horror fans will enjoy this one a lot.
Okay.
Would agree.
All right, Josh, is that's what you got for us?
That's it for me. Yep.
Awesome. I love your YouTube recommendations and those smaller things. Like, I've never heard of them. You watch so much. I'm amazed. I love it.
You gotta do it. I love it. So,
all right, Aaron.
Yeah, Josh, that was awesome.
Aaron, I'm saving you for last. No, I'm kidding. You're up next.
Excellent. No, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm glad to be back this time around. So just like in previous months, I've come up with some lesser known indie films. Some of these are out now. Some of them are coming out in the next month, I think. And some I'm not sure exactly when they are coming out, but put them on your list and check them out if you can. The first one.
Your images. Do you want your images up, or do you want to?
Yeah, why don't you? Do you want to try it? We'll see how it goes.
We can do it. I don't know if they're in order.
Oh, well, maybe not then.
But
I don't know. Can you guys see that?
Yep. Can you see that, or should we just look at Aaron's face?
I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's not really in order though.
I can try to find the one that you.
Well, the first one I wanted to talk about is Halloween. And that's Go to Hell, like Halloween, but Halloween. And I don't know if this one was on the list, so maybe maybe we can come back to it, because originally I gave you 10 films that I wanted to talk about. And Halloween, I just got the screener this morning. I just watched it. and I loved it. So speaking of Halloween vibes, this is a new horror movie to check out. It's a British film. It's about a serial killer who escapes from an asylum and targets the family of the doctor who's kept him imprisoned for many years.
Whoa.
The opening sequence has a little kid dressed as a clown, sound familiar, who goes on a killing spree, and it's just fantastic. Like I said, I watched it first thing this morning. I usually don't watch horror movies at 8:30 a.m., but it's Sunday, and I was very excited to see this one. Think Halloween meets Silence of the Lambs meets Alone in the Dark. And there's a bit of a clown element to it as well. He wears like these red slashes and a slit for a mouth. So they call it in the news, I think it's slashes and gashes, something like that. But check it out. Is it a perfect story? No. The final act, there are some flaws there, but I would definitely check it out. Watch it in the dark if you can, and that is Halloween. So that's the first one. I'm going to try to go through these quickly. The next one, and I did, Tim, send you the image for this, Night of the Reaper. And this one is written by Brandon Christensen, who did Superhost, about the crazy Airbnb host, which I loved. He also did Z and The Puppet Man. So his new film is called Night of the Reaper. It's set in the 80s. In the very beginning, a babysitter is babysitting, and let's just say things don't end well for her. And her younger sister then comes back a year later to try to find out who killed her sister. And I won't say anything more. I thought it was excellent. It will be streaming on Shudder. I think it's coming out in September. And I'm going to be chatting with Brandon Christensen, I believe this week, and Jordan from the Movie Den, who's on here. Jordan, I know you're on. I hope you're still on, is going to be joining me for that interview. So stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, excellent. That's going to be fun.
The poster for that is awesome too. I just have to say.
It's so cool. Yeah, it's very poster. 80s. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay, let's see. Somnium, more of a sci-fi film, but it kind of deals with like a sleep study almost. It's like a business in LA where actors or producers or directors or anyone really can pay. You sort of go into like this sleep mode, and they implant dreams into your mind. So when you wake up, it's almost like, what is it? Positive affirmation. You wake up thinking that you're now the actor you wanted to be, or you're now this superstar director, and sort of that mind control, or I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it gives them that extra strength to become who they really want to be. And let's say that things don't go as planned in the end. Not really scary, but the atmosphere was really really unique, and I liked the way it played out in the end, and it kind of made you leaves the audience thinking, let's say. So if you can check out Somnium, I would say add that to your list. Next up, I have House of Abraham, and this is directed by Lisa Belcher, and it's written by Lucas Hassel. Lucas stars as Abraham in this film, and I don't know if you can see it here, but if you're a fan of Natasha Henstridge, she is in this film, and also Lynn Shay, who we all know from Nightmare on Elm Street, and many other films. So if you're fans of them, check out House of Abraham. Quickly, it's about a suicide retreat where you can sign up, go to House of Abraham for the weekend, so you can kill yourself in peace and with other people who want to end their life.
Oh,
wow.
So that is what my wife would love.
Dang.
How's that for a premise?
Working getaway.
Let's just say this suicide retreat does not go well this one weekend. So one to check out. It's more of a drama, psychological, but it has some great twists, and Natasha is fantastic in it. Let's see. I'm actually talking to Natasha and Lucas on Tuesday, so stay tuned for that one. Zombie Con Volume 1. Has anyone seen this crazy film? Go back. It's one. Yeah, right there. I just watched this last week. It's basically about a group of cosplaying friends. Yes, you heard me right. They're all cosplayers. They trigger a zombie apocalypse. Low budget, but my God, it's charming. It was so much fun. Silly in the end, but the characters, it's just, you just sort of fall in love with them, even when the zombies sort of take over. And that's written by Kyle Val and Aaron Anya. I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name right. She's one of the leads. You can see her here in the middle on the poster. She is fantastic. So Zombie Con Volume 1. I'm not sure if it's streaming yet, but I think we're going to hear a lot more about this film in the coming weeks. Let's see. Trouble. Any questions? Did I cut someone off? No, you're giving a quick preview. The next one I want to mention is The Trouble with Tessa, which isn't a movie. It's a series. It's Screambox. Their first Screambox original series. There are 6 episodes. Each one is about 20 minutes, so it's not a huge commitment. I thought it was fantastic. It's basically about a disgraced documentarian who retreats the city to a town that seems perfect. But then in the house she's renting, she finds a box of tapes and believes she witnesses a murder. And then she seeks to unravel that murder. And what I said is is a seemingly perfect town. And things go very badly. And there are monsters. There's some fantastic effects in this. There's a skin peel scene that is unforgettable. This is streaming now on Screambox. If anyone has seen it, jump in here, but it's definitely one to see. Dennis Kalo and Bethany Watson directed, and I did get a chance to interview them recently, and that will be coming on my YouTube channel in a few weeks. Okay, a few more. Obayifo Project, which is a found footage project where basically about a ritual gone wrong. Kind of fun, has some scary moments. It's streaming now on multiple platforms. I know that for sure. So I would definitely check this one out. I am interviewing the director, Paco Arasons, I think you say his last name, and Horribly Opinionated is joining. So Josh, looking forward to that. Josh, who's on right here, is going to be joining me for that one.
It does my heart so good to see all the little connections being made. I just love it. I just love it.
Oh man, I love having folk like anyone joining me for these interviews. I love doing that. Okay, I swear, just a few more. Grind by Mark Cantu, which I just watched recently, an homage to Demons, if you like that film from the 80s. This one is fantastic. I had a lot of fun with it. If you like his previous films, I think it's Wolf Hollow, the werewolf film he did. And this one is about a midnight grindhouse film festival that gets infected with a demonic force, and things don't go well for the audience. I had an absolute blast. There are some horror legends in this: Lynn Lowry, Ginger Lynn, and Felissa Rose, just to name a few. So check out Grind. I've got a Bigfoot double feature here, so if you're a fan of found footage Bigfoot films, Tahoe Joe 3 is coming out. If you've seen Tahoe Joe 1, Tahoe Joe 2, this one is a lot of fun. Let's see. I'm drawing a blank here. Dylan Brown and Michael Rock made this film, and they said they just wanted to have a good time and make a film that they love and enjoy. And I think they've accomplished that, and you can see it if you watch it. So Tahoe Joe 3, that one is coming out either September or October. Fox Hollow is another found footage Bigfoot, and thank you, Tim, for flashing these images up. I know it's not easy. Fox Hollow is another found footage Bigfoot horror. I think it's only about an hour in length. It's a Welsh film. Is it perfect? No, but I actually had a good time with it. There are some great scare elements. The characters are interesting. It's about a nature documentarian who agrees to go out in the woods with an eccentric, and they run into monsters. So I guess the moral here is don't go out in the woods with people you don't know with a camera. But check out Fox Hollow. That's written and directed by Tom Hughes. I did talk with him recently, so that will be coming out shortly. And I have one last one here, and this one did get a theatrical release, so maybe some of you have seen it, and that is Strange Harvest, written by Stuart Ortiz, who I just had the pleasure of talking with earlier this week. And this one is a found footage film told in documentary style about Mr. Shiny, who is a mysterious serial killer. We learn about his victims, and the final act in this one can't be explained, and it's just terrifying. There's some really scary moments in this. I don't know if anyone has seen it. If you have, jump in. But Stuart Ortiz is half of the Vicious Brothers. He did Grave Encounters 1 and 2, and also Extraterrestrial, which you may know. And there you have it. So let me do a quick run through. So Night of the Reaper, Halloween, Night of the Reaper, Somnium, House of Abraham, Zombie Con Volume 1, Trouble with Tessa, Obaifo Project, Grind, Tahoe Joe 3, Fox Hollow, and Strange Harvest. And if I could quickly just plug a couple things for my channel on A&B Horror Movies, I just posted a panel interview video with the Mutilator 2 cast. So the original director, some of the original actors from Mutilator are on, as well as some new cast members. So that was a blast. Coming up tomorrow, I'm posting an interview with 2 Australian horror directors for Nightfall, A Paranormal Investigation, and that is Miles McEwen and Ripley Stevens, and John from Under the Floorboards podcast, if you know him, joined for that interview. And then 2 more coming up. Bury Me When I'm Dead. I talked to directors Siebold Krebs, Mackenzie Lee, and Charlotte Hope joined for that one, which was a lot of fun. And Pater Noster with Christopher Bickle, who wrote and directed that. And GC, who is here, joined me for that one, and that will post in about a week, so stay tuned for those.
Nice.
And that's it. Oh my gosh, did I do it in 10 minutes or less? I was trying.
I lost
You're a
track.
rock star. You did great. So good.
And there we are. Thank you, everyone.
Always great recommendations. I can't keep up between my TBR with Kelsi and my movie list with Aaron and the rest of you guys, in all honesty. I can't keep up. I don't have enough time in my day to watch all of this stuff and work a 40-hour work week. I don't.
Do what you can.
Not easy.
Do what you can.
It's tough.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you,
Aaron.
guys. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Jordan, you ready?
I think so.
All right. We're down to our final 2. So we're in the physical media segment. We have Jordan and GC. Jordan stepping in last minute tonight. Thank you so much for doing that, Jordan.
Yeah, of course. No, thank you for having me. So I've got a few I want to talk about. One here, I know we were all talking about weapons. That was kind of the big hot topic. I wanted to bring this up. This released a little earlier in the year and now does have a physical media release, but it kind of, I feel like, flew a little under the radar, and that's Bring Her Back. Personally, I thought this, for me, topped Weapons, in my opinion. I had much more fun with this. This is Michael and Danny Philippou. It's their second film, I believe. Their first one was Talk to Me. They came back and did this film. It's basically follows this brother and sister. They end up in the foster care system by unfortunate circumstances involving their father who passed away. And this woman who previously worked in the foster care system, for the foster care system, I should say, basically invites them in and has them live with her. While there's some more story where something happened with her daughter prior to getting these kids in. And it is one of those movies that is very dreadful, unrelenting, and doesn't let you go. Once there's like, it turns a certain corner and then it's full speed ahead and doesn't stop. And you're gripping, you're white knuckling your chair the whole time. It's really what's happening. This is a A24 release. It's a great release. Has a behind the scenes documentary, featurette, I should say. Really great stuff with this release. This one, like I said, I didn't hear a lot of people talk about as much, but definitely was a standout film of 2025, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask when we were comparing Traumatica, the kind of trauma in that, if it was as traumatizing as Let Her Go was for me, because that movie messed me up. So,
yeah, I
think I
feel
said
like
this last time, but Bring Her Back, you value your teeth at the end of that movie.
yeah, and forearm skin.
I've heard that Bring Her Back
That too,
is
yeah.
possibly in the same universe as Talk to Me.
oh,
I think I've read something
Okay.
about that.
so some theories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Interesting.
found it was harder to watch certain scenes of Bring Her Back, perhaps more so than Traumatica.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know though.
To me, they're like different
Different
areas
kinds
of
of-
movies, because one's
Gotcha.
an indie horror and one's more of a large
Yeah.
budget horror.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. The wood crunching scene just took me out. So
So great. Such a good movie.
Yep.
This next one I want to talk about, this is from Lionsgate Limited. It's came out. It is Frailty. Now, I've seen this. I haven't got to dive much into the special features of this, so I'm going to talk very quickly on this. This is basically Bill Paxton directed this film. It follows Matthew McConaughey as he's narrating this story in a way about his father and his brother. And you find out that one night, an supposed angel, appears to Bill Paxton, telling him that the end of the world is coming, and he needs to prepare by killing demons. And so he all of a sudden gets a list of names and periodically finds these quote unquote demons and goes to kill them. And of course, Matthew McConaughey is talking with, I believe it's an FBI agent, kind of going over the story. And that's essentially what the film is about. But this is a great release from Lionsgate Limited. It comes, what I think is one of the coolest things, is it comes with the script from the movie with all of Bill Paxton's actual writings.
Cool.
So it has all of his notes that he made for the movie.
That's awesome.
So really awesome release. If you're into like the extra special features and like to dive into things like that, this is, I think, a great release from Lionsgate Limited.
That's a powerful movie too.
It is. And it leaves you wondering. Part of you think one way that, oh, this person's crazy, something's wrong, but then there's a twist at the end where you're like, okay, well, maybe there was something to this. So I think this is a great film. Sorry, go ahead.
It's so good. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
The twists in the end. It's fantastic.
This next one, this is from Arrow Video, just came out. We've got Texas Chainsaw. This is a Massacre. This is the 2003 remake. Now, with this one, you have Marcus Nispel. He famously went on to then do Friday the 13th from 2009. But Daniel Pearl, the DP, actually was able to come back from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre to do this. And which was, at the time, was like the first time this has ever happened. What's really cool is he basically took... His idea was he wanted to take everything that he learned, because his original... the original one he did from 1974, that was very early on in his career, was learning as he was going, very low budget. And this one, you obviously had a higher budget. I mean, it was Platinum Dudes put this out and Michael Bay, so they had a pretty decent sized budget behind them. And so he wanted to showcase that. So that's where you get the updated scene with the hitchhiker, the great shot going from little hula girl on the dash, going through the head out into the cow. And they do kind of do a nod to the under the swing shot, revealing the house. You have what is his name now? It's escaping me. Arlie Ermey plays the sheriff in this. Of course, you guys know him. He plays the drill sergeant from
Frighteners.
No, he plays the drill sergeant in
Full Metal
Jacket. Thank you. Yeah, and he's
born
still
to play the drill sergeant.
Yes. And even in this movie, he's got that kind of rhythm and cadence to his voice, the way he talks. This one, I think, is a great film. It's a great kind of reimagining of the film. It definitely, some controversial takes on this film, like giving Texas Leatherface a name, which is, you never get that in the original. They changed the last name. It's no longer the Sawyers. I can't remember what the last, the Hewitts are in this one. So, and they expand the lore of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You got the meat packing plant. The house is more of a commune than an actual home. But this is still a great movie. I really enjoyed this release. And they brought back actually the original Leatherface, who was the first Leatherface in this film. He only shot one scene and injured himself, and they had to replace him. And his name is escaping me. I'm trying to find it on here. But anyways, regardless,
right?
Yes, they bring him back for an interview to talk to him. Like, basically, he is in, was officially a Leatherface. So there's that one I wanted to talk about. And I think I have one more for this one. And Eric was talked about this earlier, and it kind of made me chuckle because I had pulled this. But Ty West's The Innkeepers. Now we got this from Second Sight Second Sight Films, and this is a great film. This is actually was made like not too long after his what was it he was at
House of the Devil.
The House of the Devil. So Yankee Peddler Inn is a real inn that they actually stayed in while shooting The House of the Devil. And while he was in there, he got inspiration for this film and started writing the movie and the script on this based around this hotel. One of the coolest things I love about this movie is Sarah Paxton and Pat Healy's characters, and their dynamic together is great. You have Sarah Paxton; she plays this very happy-go-lucky, just wants to have a good time, trying to enjoy herself character. Pat Healy's a very reserved, kind of a pessimistic character, and their relationship is almost a brother and sister dichotomy. However, he kind of he takes it a little further in a scene or two. But I think this is a great haunted house film. And then, yeah, it's one of those situations where you just find yourself in the wrong situation at the wrong time. Only gripe I personally have with this is I wish they would have, there is some avenues they could have dived down that I wish they would have gone a little further, but that's kind of being nitpicky of the story. I think it was a good choice. It could have been a good choice of how they left it. But other than that, I think this release from Second Sight is phenomenal. And then I'll plug this real quick. I'm running a giveaway for the Innkeepers, and that announcement's going to be tomorrow. So if you guys want to enter in for this giveaway, you got to check out my YouTube channel and Instagram tomorrow, and I'll be announcing how to win this copy of the Innkeepers.
Hell yeah. Awesome, dude.
Awesome.
So there is that, and I think I have one more, and this one is something that's going to be coming here pretty soon. Tim, I know we talked about screen sharing. Are we able to?
Yep.
Is that so? Okay, cool. Let me pull this up real quick. Now this one has divided a lot of people. This release, but Imprint is releasing this, in my opinion, a really cool set. It is a Halloween 1 through 5 only of the whole Halloween franchise of those 5 films.
What's price tag?
Right there, $326. But what's cool is you literally get every single documentary in on this one release. Now I know like 25 Years of Terror was not in the Scream Factory release. They put it in this one, which is pretty cool. But it's also housed in this replica jack-o'-lantern with like this acrylic case with the face.
That's pretty sweet.
On the back, it does house all the movies, and then of course you have a little shot of Michael Myers there. It does light up, and all these are all steel books, and they are put in these little felt foam. They look like koozies almost. Koozie type sleeves. So you're getting, I mean, the amount of stuff you're getting in this is pretty cool. I did a whole breakdown video on this, but yeah, I'm really excited about this. I don't know if I'm going to get it because I don't know if I can swallow $330 plus shipping from Australia, pushing $400.
And there's a tariff.
And the tariff. And the potential of it not even showing up. Right? They're going to hold it for you. So there's a lot of variables in this release. I think it's still really cool to highlight because I think this is a really awesome release. I think that's such a creative idea to house the movies in the jack-o'-lantern. Now, I don't think this is like the ultimate release ever because clearly they're missing quite a few films here. But nonetheless, regardless of the price, I mean, it's still pretty cool. So that's why I wanted to showcase that one.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So I think it's already sold out. I did pre-order it. It's my favorite film. I had to.
Let's see. I'm refreshing the screen right now. There's 104 left. They added more.
They added more. How can they add more if they're only doing 1,000 copies?
Hey, the hype's real. They'll do it.
They're doing
if I don't get it and it sells out, I'll never forgive myself. So.
Aaron, you're not helping my situation because I'm like really not. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I know.
I'll kick myself if I don't get it.
I'm so tempted.
I foreclosed. I lost my home, but I got the Halloween set. So.
Yep. Hey, there's no Christmas this year, honey, but we got the Halloween set.
I just can't buy another movie till January. That's all.
No, the budget for the year is done.
Pretty much
done.
Awesome. All right, Jordan, that's all you had for us?
That's all I have today. Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And at the last minute, too, great job. All right.
Thank you.
we close it out with the most episodes under the belt of anybody, GC.
What's up, buddy? Thank you.
It's you.
First of all, I wore this shirt for you. There we go.
Yeah, Roswell.
I'm sure you recognize the little logo right there, the
Yeah,
WF.
I do.
There we go, the Y-Files. So shout out to them.
Y-Files. Anybody watch Y-Files on YouTube? Come on.
Sometimes, yeah, they got some interesting stuff on there.
Okay, there we
I did
go.
watch that episode you sent me, and that was something else.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. If you're into conspiracy theories and weird stuff.
They have cool T-shirts. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear it for Tim. He didn't even notice. I'm a little heartbroken, but we'll get past it.
This is the first time you've been blown up on my screen, so.
There we go. Well, guys, Jordan talked about some awesome releases, and now I'm gonna talk about some new releases as well. But I actually want to take you guys back in time. Majority of my releases are all movies from back in the day, except for one, which we'll get to at the very end, because I'm gonna bring you back to 2025. So what I want you to do for me, I want you to go ahead and, as everybody on here are creators, go ahead and close your eyes for me. Everybody watching, just for a second, bear with me. I promise I'm not hypnotizing anybody.
You're providing an experience, man.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take you guys back. So close your eyes. I want you to just go back in time to 1997. Okay, I want you to think about the CRT TV, the static on the screen, grabbing a VHS and just popping it in, and you hear that little pop sound, sort of. But now I want you to go ahead and open your eyes for me. Right, we're back in 1997, and this is a movie that I'm bringing up to you guys. Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Now, if we could all agree mutually, either we're fans of Alien or fans of Hellraiser or both. But now this movie pretty much is the love child of Alien and Hellraiser. I mean, there's even a certain line in this film that's exactly from Pinhead himself.
Oh yeah.
But this movie here, I wanted to bring it up because this is such a phenomenal movie, and me finding out that it was on 4K, I just had to pick it up. Got it on Amazon for $20, and I could not be more excited. I mean, this comes with the Blu-ray that also has 5 different documentaries on the making of the film. It has deleted scenes. There's even like a rescue scene on here that wasn't shown in theaters. And not to mention, just a week ago, they released a new comic book. For whoever's fans of comic books on
they
here.
did, yeah. I have my eyes on that.
Oh, yeah, which is a prequel to this movie.
Uh-huh.
So in this movie, obviously, you hear the story about what happened to the previous crew. But in this comic book, it kind of brings everything together, which is fantastic. Now, if you love this film, then obviously VHS, it's amazing to watch it and have that nostalgic experience, because right now we are in 1997. However, it does cost $98 to buy. So the next best thing, $20 for this. And it holds up phenomenally. Honestly, I just did a podcast episode a week ago on the deep dive on this movie. And let me tell you guys that besides a few little CGI things here and there of some floating objects in space, I mean, obviously they got pretty excited with CGI, so they were trying to show off. So back then it was like no bells and whistles. Now it didn't hold up that well. However, the story and the gore and the acting in this movie, I mean, it just completely makes you forget all about that. Highly recommend the 4K. You have Sam Neill from Jurassic Park. You have Lawrence Fishburne, which does a phenomenal job. I mean, we all know him from The Matrix, and he commands the room in this movie. I mean, this is, to me, I mean, absolutely the best. Especially watching Sam Neill turn into this whole weird, like Pinhead type demon. Amazing. So now
Spoiler
again,
alert.
spoiler. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen it by now, but if you haven't, still just please watch it. I promise you won't be disappointed. It has to do with space, gore, horror, sci-fi. I mean, you name it. They did a fantastic job.
Sam Neill is underrated. So sorry. Sam Neill is underrated as hell. I love him as an actor. I mean, obviously everyone knows him from Jurassic Park, but Possession, Event Horizon, In the Mouth of Madness. He's great. He's one of my favorites. So I'm so glad you like
Which is amazing, because they're actually Arrow's releasing a 4K of In the Mouth of Madness pretty soon. So they've already announced it and everything. So that's some more Sam Neill action for us.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to pick this up, $20. on sale on Amazon. You can't go wrong with this, with a nice slip.
I just gotta say, as a massive nerd, it is also the unofficial Warhammer Universe prequel for those of you who delve into that stuff. So it strangely ties into that universe far too well. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited for it, man. I love comic books, never got into it growing up, but when I saw doing the research for the podcast and I saw that it was coming out, man, I just lost it because I always wanted a continuation to this movie. It's very rare for me to want a sequel to something, and I was just like, I need to know more. And
Same.
even
Yeah.
being a prequel, I was like, you know what? I want to understand what they really went through because there's an iconic scene in this movie that it's considered. I hope I don't get flagged by YouTube. So, Tim, I apologize in advance, but it's called a blood orgy, and that clip.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, and that clip in this movie. I mean, the little scenes that you see, it looks brutal, man. I mean, it's definitely will keep you up at night.
They
So-
lost footage too, though, which is so tragic. They had
Yeah.
to cut so much out, and that's just gone.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot missing.
Sadness.
So the other thing, I don't know if you knew tapping into it, that is part of an entire deal with IDW Comic Book Publishing, where they are doing multiple horror movie related comic books. Event Horizon is just the beginning. There's supposed to be a couple others that tie in. I don't remember what they are exactly. I was trying to pull it up, but that
Are
is
they the
just the
ones
start.
That's
Doing
cool.
Friday the 13th 2.
I'll find the list while GC continues, and we'll bring it back up later.
There we go.
Yeah, I think Tim and I, when we reviewed this last year for the average, we called it like Space Hellraiser. Was that?
Yes,
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
It's better than the actual like Hellraiser in space movie. So.
We need
Yeah.
more horror in space. That's what I think.
they should have tied it in with this movie somehow. And then
Right.
he's like, "I've got such space to show you."
Yes.
Now, with this other movie that we're gonna talk about, we're gonna go a little bit forward. We're gonna go to the year 2000, right? We survived the technological apocalypse, guys. We're all here. None of our data's lost. It's not some weird dystopian world. Now, this movie that I want to bring up, Arrow, is releasing. I'm very excited for it. One of my favorites, sci-fi / I would say horror thriller type movies, comes out November 18th, and that is Red Planet with Val Kilmer. Such a cool movie. If you haven't seen this one, check it out. A lot of fun. I'm excited to see what they do with the 4K. Hopefully, some of the CGI holds up. But I mean, you have Carrie Ann Moss, which again, Matrix, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, and it's pretty much some astronauts that land on Mars. They land in a way where they kind of almost their ship gets all destroyed and everything, and they have a robot with them. And this robot during the landing gets damaged, and then all this crazy stuff starts happening. So it's all stuff you would see in the trailer, so I don't want to spoil it or anything, but highly recommend it. A lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, it's coming out soon on 4K, so very excited about it. Now, what I'll do too afterwards, I'll show you guys, I'll share my screen and I'll show you kind of all the releases and stuff online. But next up, we're going to go a little bit even further to the past, and then I'm going to bring us back. So we're going back to 1982. Unfortunately, guys, I know this is all horror. This is not a horror movie, but I mean, who doesn't love neon lights and who doesn't love electric music? Especially with the original Tron.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the reason I'm bringing this one up, right? And then I'm going to bring on, I know this one's a little bit of a divide. Tron Legacy. I personally loved it.
It's good.
I mean, and the reason I'm bringing this up, obviously we have Tron Ares coming out pretty soon. I think it's in October. But these are also, they were just announced about a few days ago that they're going to be released on 4K, and they're going to do this beautiful steelbook. So finally Disney kind of opened up the vault and they said, you know what, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a treat. You guys have been good this year. So we're like, all right, whatever. We'll pay the overprice. But yeah, this is again, Tron, very excited for it. And as horror fans, I would be surprised if someone on here said they didn't like the band 9 Inch Nails. Well, they actually did the soundtrack for this, which is available for pre-order. Only $13 for the CD. If you guys still collect CDs, I know I do. And if you want vinyl, you're paying like $44. This is on Amazon. What was that?
Worth it.
Oh
Worth
yeah,
44
absolutely.
bucks. Some Trent
Yeah.
Reznor, please.
Yeah, what they did with the vinyl, it's beautiful. I know that they did this cool kind of like black and reddish design, but if you look that up online, you'll see it. I know I pre-ordered the soundtrack, very pumped for it. I mean, again, I'm a big Nine Inch Nails fan, so very excited for that and for the movie itself. I mean, I have yet to be disappointed. I know Jared Leto's in this, and
Hope it
after
avoids his
Morbius,
curse.
yeah, hopefully this
Jared
is the
Leto
one that
curse.
avoids it. But we do have Evan Peters. If you guys are a fan of Evan Peters, I mean, he does a phenomenal job. Jeff Bridges is back, so very excited for it. So keep an eye out for that, and it's coming out October 10th. So we're gonna have that coming out. Now,
I love that comment.
what I think it's
Yes.
that's awesome,
Well deserving.
Jeff. That's a good one.
That was a good one.
Now, I'm going to bring us back, guys, because we were talking about weapons. And it's so crazy to live in a world where the movie hasn't even come out yet. It's 2 days to being in theaters, and the Steelbook is already announced. It's insane to me. I think within the next 2 years, we're probably going to be getting the release within a month, maybe even less than when the movie comes out in theaters. But for those that don't like going to the movies anymore, unfortunately, broke my heart a little bit. Kelsi, Jerry, you guys hurt me, but you guys are going to have the option to have this and be able to watch it at home. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I'm going to start with Event Horizon.
When is Weapons out? September? I think it's September, right?
I think
October.
it's, let me see here. It says pre-order.
No, maybe that's Dangerous Animals. I think that's October.
Yeah, because I'm not even, let me see. Let me open this other link real quick because I'm not even seeing. Oh, wait, release date. Okay, so it's December 31st.
Oh,
okay.
Wait, 2099. They put a weird date here, but
2099. We're gonna wait a minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while, guys.
They're gonna release it the same time they release Barbarian on 4K.
So what do we got here? Okay, here we go. And then sharing my screen so you guys won't be able to see my face for a second. Now,
Sean's gonna be sad.
Don't cry for me, Jordan. Now, so here we go, guys. Like I mentioned, 1995, hell of a deal. You get the Blu-ray, you get the 4K, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. If you're a fan of horror, highly recommend, especially with the 5-part documentary on here from the making of the film. So again, highly recommend it. Check out the book, the comic book coming out soon. And next, we're gonna go on to Red Planet. Now, oh no, not that one. So Red Planet, if you go to Valoria Video, among you have Arrow and all these other sites. Now, the reason I bring up Valoria Video is because I have partnered with them. So if you pre-order any movie from them, you are actually able to use my code FaceTheMovies10 and you save 10% off your order. So if you're looking for anything like that, you're looking to pre-order this movie, you got a great price, $34 for the 4K. I think it comes with a poster as well. Nice slip cover and all. And I think it has a reversible, let me see here, because it has the reversible, oh, here we go. Yeah, it has like a little reversible art. So you have the original one, which is pretty cool. Such a great film to check out. And then now, like I was mentioning, you have the Tron Ares soundtrack, $13. I pre-ordered this one immediately. I was like, I listened to the first song and I was like, yeah, this is coming home. For the vinyl, I wanted it, but I was like, you know what? I'll wait for later on. Now, this vinyl on the website, it does look normal, obviously, but if you look it up from the manufacturer of this vinyl, they actually have like a special edition, I think like a website exclusive, and it has like the cool staining and the coloring and all that stuff to the disc. And now, as I mentioned, let me go ahead and see. Oh no, okay. So I was trying to look for the steel books, but it's okay. We'll skip it this time. But now we got weapons, as I mentioned. You got the cool steel book if you want to pre-order that. This is on Groove. I used them once. I was a little disappointed, but I know other people have a good time with them, so you should probably be okay. If not, you could probably be able to get it on Amazon as well, or any of these other physical media providers like Valoria Video, Monster Mall, the Movie Room. And then you have some options, so you're not stuck with the Steelbook. I know personally, I'm not a big Steelbook collector, so if you want just a regular 4K or the Blu-ray or any of that stuff, or even a DVD, if you're still collecting DVDs, I mean, man, like you have it all here available. Not too bad. So not too bad of a price. And now, last but not least, guys, I want to take you back here to Valoria Video for a second. And the reason why is because we have finally announced the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy being released by Arrow on 4K. And I believe it's in December as well. Now, if you guys are fans of the Turtles,
Yes.
I mean, here we go. And now the reason I'm bringing this up, obviously, besides a cool release, is because I've actually partnered with them. So I'm doing a giveaway. I already announced it about a week ago. And when I get to 500 subscribers on YouTube, I'm going to be giving this bad boy away with partnership with Valoria. So in order to enter, which I put up a reel on my Instagram as well, Face the Movies. But if you want to enter, you're excited for it, just all you have to do is subscribe to my channel and then make sure to follow me, follow Valoria Video on Instagram, and just message me. Let me know your favorite turtle, and I'm going to add you to the list. You're in. And then once I get to 500 subscribers, we're going to do the drawing on a live stream and announce the winner. Now, I might do a consolation prize. I might do a second place. Who knows? I mean, if you're not first, you're last. But I mean, we'll see how I'm feeling that night. And I'm gonna have some. That's right. But yeah, so I'm gonna have some few friends on there to hang out and kind of have a good time. But that is pretty much it. I don't think I'm forgetting anything here. Actually, one more thing. So Jordan did talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We actually did an episode on Cinema Rewind on my channel, which we did a whole deep dive on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, plus the remake that came out in 2006, which was the prequel. So if you're interested in looking into something like that, make sure to check it out. It was a ton of fun on there. So yeah, that's it for me, guys. I won't keep you on too long, but that's it.
Awesome, GC. So
Tim, real quick, I do want to point one thing out. They released for anyone out there who is a gamer, all right, they released a game trailer on July 22nd, coming out December 31st of this year. Hellraiser Revival, video game terror awesomeness. Highly recommend if you're into gaming and you want something fearful, frightful, check out Hellraiser Revival. Just want to throw that out there real quick.
Yeah, I saw the announcement releases of that, and I thought it was another movie, and I thought it looked sweet, but it's a video game, so awesome.
Hey, there's also Halloween too. Halloween is getting a game now too.
Yeah,
nice. So right.
Awesome.
Yes, I hope it's like a story mode, though. I hope it's good. That's all I'm going to say.
So that hits, we hit 2.5 hours. That's about where we usually are for this. So I think that wraps up our episode. Everybody got out what they needed to get out. I hope we all had a good time. I know it's not a quick stream, what we're doing here, but I want it to be worth everybody's time just for the conversation and the hangout, the connections you make here. Hopefully you communicate with each other once the show is over. And the fans sitting there in the comments, who we've had great active comments sections for the last couple episodes. So I appreciate everybody out there in the comments. We even had some people who are former panelists joining us in the conversation, some special guests joining us in the conversation. Love to see that. So, Jonathan, we ready to read us out of here?
Let's get kicking, chicken.
All right. That's going to wrap things up for tonight. Big thanks again to Eric Miller for pulling up a chair and sharing some killer stories with us. Thank you, Eric.
Absolutely. Thanks. Seriously, thanks for hanging out. Also, you are the third person in my life I've met who is a fan of Rogers and Lasney's work in Chronicles of Amber. So super awesome to hear that. And we can't wait to see what is next for you.
We got to talk.
Yes, let's do that. Let's talk Chronicles of Amber. I'm all about it.
I also want to talk a little bit Indiana. I'm an Indiana person, so I would love to hear a little bit more about Indiana from you. So,
awesome. Believe me, I know a lot.
All right, and shout out to the crew tonight. I'm going to read you through again. You can say something real quick, but I don't want to take too much time. So, starting at the top, Aaron, thank you being back after vacation.
Very welcome. This was awesome. Yes, thank you guys for having me. A lot of fun always.
Awesome. Elise and Tony, thank you so much for coming out. I love what you guys do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Yep. Jordan, last minute, stepping in. You're the man.
Hey, thanks for asking me to come on. I had fun.
Awesome. GC, anchoring the show, pulling up the relay last.
Just pumped to be here all the time. Gotta say, always a blast with everyone. Some new faces. It was awesome to meet you guys. For the old faces, Love you guys. It's always a blast to keep doing this with you, and I'd love all your new faces as well, so I don't want you to feel left out, but ton of fun.
Josh, horribly opinionated. Thank you again. Love having you out.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Love talking horror with all you guys. It's really awesome.
Awesome. Jerry, first time out. Thank you so much for being here. I know coming out to your show this month, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. What a great panel here. Thank you so much for having me. This is a blast.
Awesome. Glad you think so. Joel, thank you for reaching out, being a part of this.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Kelsi, as always, love the enthusiasm and the energy.
Yeah.
So much.
Thank you. Sorry, I try to be hinged, but then the hinges come off and I go long, and I'm so sorry.
YouTube cut us off at 3 hours. If we were getting close to that, I would let you know.
I would speed read if we were, or like speed talk if we were getting too close. But anyone who loves Giallo, by the way, we're doing a Gialloween weekend as part of Halloween-a-thon. Just one of the weekends. It's no extra things involved. Just I'll be streaming Giallo movies like all day on one weekend during my little Halloween-a-thon event. So please, if you like community, if you like freaking watch parties, if you like freaking fun and whatevs, please join us. Go to my channel for that announcement video. But thank you guys for having me. I'm sorry for the freaking long-winded spiel, but I appreciate you guys.
Stop. And if you're looking for Giallo reads, that was Kelsi's first segment 3 episodes ago, I believe. So you can go back and check out some Giallo reads from Kelsi.
Giallo's my obsession right now. It's too much. It's my whole personality right now. I gotta chill.
So, and of course, all of you out there listening, been active in the chat. Appreciate you so much. You're as much a part of this as those of us sitting here on camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
let me
that's
just
what
say,
makes. Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. Tubi has a really good section for Giallo horror films.
Tubi is the sleeping giant of streaming services. So
It really is. Absolutely.
All right, Jonathan.
So, yes, thanks, everyone. That's the kind of stuff that makes it feel like our own little after-hours pub. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's got a voice, and we just like to keep the conversation rolling as much as possible.
Couldn't have said it better. So thanks for being part of the community. Thanks for coming back each month, and don't be a stranger.
Until next time, friends, last call's over. Lights are dim, but the door is always open for the next round.
We'll see you then.